Chapter 624. Lu Chen frowned slightly as he looked at these people. They came from different races and were equipped with luxurious equipment, but they all looked fierce. Behind them was a wooden cage with a human woman locked inside. It seemed that this group of people had already succeeded once before. "Hey, this place doesn't belong to you. Why are you still blocking the road and robbing us?" The leader was a female dwarf who looked quite sturdy. This big sister, the human race and the dwarf race seemed to be allies. Lu Chen frowned. "Why do you pick on the human race?" When the woman in the cage saw Lu Chen, she immediately rushed to the edge of the cage and shouted at Lu Chen, "Save me." Lu Chen's straight nature determined that he wasn't very interested in saving the beauty, so he didn't pay attention to the woman. "Shut up." A male alien with a long nose knocked on the cage with his weapon. "One more word and I'll kill you." "Alliance? Boy, it seems that you still don't know what the Savage Land is. Here, there are no alliances, only interests." The female dwarf roared fiercely. "Don't talk about robbing. Even if I kill you here, no one will care. Here, you can do whatever you want with strength." Lu Chen nodded. "So that's how it is. It's indeed the Savage Land. Then what do you want me to do before you let me in?" Lu Chen wanted to know what was the most valuable thing in the Savage Land. The things that this group of people robbed should be more valuable. Who knew that after the female dwarf signaled to her subordinate actually took out a strength testing stone and placed it in front of Lu Chen. "If your single attack can reach 10 million, you are qualified to join us. If not, I'm sorry. But if you want to live, everything on you is ours. You also know that we have a way to make you die in reality." Lu Chen frowned slightly. This group of bandits was quite cautious. They first tested the attack before deciding whether to rob or not. This trick was really perfect. Speaking of which, the minimum requirement was actually 20 million damage per attack. Shifeng had never thought that the players in the Wildlands would be so strong. The Immortal Apex Sex test was 30 million per 10 seconds. But here, it was 20 million per attack. The difference was huge. "Boss, isn't our minimum requirement 25 million? Why do you only want him to play 20 million? Don't tell me you've fallen for him?" The facial features of the dwarf race were very similar to those of the human race. Interestingly, from the aesthetic point of view of the dwarf race, they seemed to prefer tall figures. Therefore, in the eyes of the dwarf race, the human race was quite good-looking. The dwarf elder sister snorted coldly. "If you keep talking nonsense, I'll tear your mouth apart." It's already rare for a human to deal 20 million damage with a single attack. As long as he can deal 20 million damage per second, it means that he's a genius among the humans. At the very least, he's smarter than all of you. That woman only struck out 8 million. The woman in the cage said angrily. "I'm injured. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to catch me. You don't have the right to speak here. If you keep talking, I'll cut off her tongue." The female dwarf snorted coldly. When the human woman heard this, she was so scared that she quickly shut her mouth. Everyone thought about it and felt that it made sense. A genius of a race wouldn't be bad in any aspect. Even if their attack was a little weaker, their other qualities wouldn't be bad. "Kid, consider yourself lucky. Our boss only wants you to hit 20 million damage. As long as you hit 20 million damage, you'll be qualified to join us. In the Wildlands, you should know the consequences of not having a backer." Lu Chen curled his lips. "Sorry, I don't like to team up with people I'm not familiar with." "Kid, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Do you really think we don't dare to kill you? Every one of us here has blood on our hands." Lu Chen smiled. "That's none of my business. I just don't want to team up with you. Since you've brought out the strength testing stone, then I'll test it." Lu Chen was too lazy to meddle in other people's business or fight. He only wanted to increase his strength as soon as possible. Just as the others were about to step forward, the dwarf lady stretched out her hand and stopped them. "Let him test it." Lu Chen smiled and nodded at the woman, then walked to the strength testing stone. The strongest single attack was void-shattering. Lu Chen used Death's Land and lowered his HP to 20% before punching the strength testing stone. The quality of the strength testing stone wasn't as good as the one from the Celestial Peak sect. Lu Chen's punch dealt at least 400 million damage. After the strength testing stone showed 100 million damage, it exploded into pieces. In this chaotic world, the group forgot to dodge and stared at the person in the middle of the field. Looking at his preparation just now, he definitely didn't use his full strength. But with a single punch, the damage exceeded 100 million. It should be far more than 100 million, because the upper limit of the strength testing stone was 100 million. But that guy smashed the strength testing stone, so the damage should be several times higher. This guy's damage is so high? What the hell? Isn't he a human? How can a human's damage be so high? I didn't see it. Could it be that the strength testing stone was fake? The previous test was very normal. How could it be fake? This person's strength is probably at the great heavenly general level. Boss, we can't afford to offend this person. The most shocked person was the human woman in the cage. Her eyes were wide open, and her eyeballs were about to pop out. Hundreds of millions with one punch? Is he still human? Lu Chen didn't have any intention to make a move. He brushed the dust off his hands and shook his head. Sorry, I broke your strength testing stone. The female dwarf's voice was trembling. It's okay. It's not that expensive. Boss, this strength testing stone costs 500 spiritual stones. Shut up, idiot. That mister, it was a misunderstanding just now. Sai, actually we just happened to pass by. Pass by? Lu Chen frowned. Your excuse is a little fake. I'm not blind, you obviously caught other people. The female dwarf glanced at the woman in the prison carriage and hurriedly said, This person she couldn't make up any more lies. Idiot, why aren't you running? The female dwarf used her movement technique and turned around to escape. The others usually weren't that smart, but at this time, they all ran faster than the other. In an instant, there was only Lu Chen left, and the woman in the prison carriage. Lu Chen was also depressed. He only questioned the other party's lies, and didn't have any intention to make a move. In the end they all ran away. Inside the wilderness, seems like it's still a place where strength is respected. Lu Chen shook his head, and was about to leave. Hey, don't go. Let me out. Behind him, the woman shouted, her hand reaching out of the cage. I'll die here in the wilderness. Lu Chen frowned slightly. Although he didn't intend to save her, since they kept the woman, he should at least open the cage. Walking to the front of the cage, Lu Chen unlocked the door. Thank you. Lu Chen didn't say anything, and turned around to leave. Hey, where are you going? Can you take me with you? Lu Chen didn't even turn his head. Stay away from me, I don't want to bring a burden. I'm not a burden. I'm strong. Strong? Can a strong person be locked in a cage? Lu Chen retorted bluntly. I'm injured. Moreover, I'm a Frost Clan mage. My main role is to support. Hey, don't go. I can take you to the Tomb of God. Lu Chen suddenly stopped. What did you say? I can take you to the Tomb of God. The woman repeated reluctantly. I can't go in alone. I need a strong helper. If you're willing to help me, most of the treasures inside can be given to you. I only want one. Not this sentence, the previous sentence. The previous sentence? I'm a Frost Clan mage? The woman said strangely. Lu Chen frowned slightly and suddenly asked, Do you know Frost Dance? Chapter 625. Sister Shuangwu? The woman looked at Lu Chen in surprise. Her blue eyes were filled with questions. You know my cousin? She's your cousin? Yes, my second uncle passed away early. We grew up together. Are you my brother-in-law? Lu Chen frowned slightly. He didn't expect to meet Shuangwu's sister. Come to think of it, the two of them really did look a little similar. Since she was Shuangwu's sister, Lu Chen would take care of her for Shuangwu's sake. Brother-in-law is your brother's head. Shuangwu and I were teammates in the third heaven. You can follow me. Haha, that's great. Brother-in-law. I promise I won't be a burden to you. If you call me brother-in-law again, you can leave by yourself. Oh, then what should I call you? I can't always call you hey. Solipsistic, Lu Chen said indifferently. You're solipsistic? The fugitive wanted by the human race. Lu Chen thought she knew him, but it turned out that was not the case. She only knew about Lu Chen's jailbreak in the fourth heaven. Well, it saved him a lot of trouble to explain. What's your name? My name is Shuang Ling. Well, let's go. Let's find a place to stay. Along the way, Lu Chen learned that the so-called Tomb of the Gods was very likely related to the map Shuang Wu gave him. It seemed that Shuang Ling was also looking for the treasure for the Shuang clan to rise. Do you Shuang clan like to act alone? I see that many big forces have their own families and organizations. Only you guys are scattered, Lu Chen said. Brother Kuang, there aren't many people left in our Shuang clan. Our strength is also many times weaker than before. There aren't many who can enter the fourth heaven. The situation there is so complicated. We have to split up to find them. Lu Chen nodded. Shuang Wu also told him that the Shuang clan was declining day by day. You said you're a support magician? Why haven't I heard of you before? As you know, the skills provided by the class trainers are becoming more and more useless. The truly powerful skills are obtained through special means. Our Frost clan used to be good at ice spells, and was known as the strongest ice clan. Unfortunately, our main combat skills have been lost. However, there are still a few support spells that are quite powerful, so I'm better at support. Lu Chen nodded. So that's how it is. Alright, let's find a place to stay first and heal your injuries. Then we'll go to the Divine Tomb to have a look. There were no major cities in the wildlands, but there were many small towns. Lu Chen and Shuang Ling settled down in a nameless town and finally found an inn. 2 earth-ranked rooms for 3 days. Lu Chen was negotiating with the owner when he felt Shuang Ling tugging at his sleeve. What? Brother Kuang, I don't have any spirit stones on me. You don't have to pay for it. The earth-ranked rooms don't cost much anyway. The shopkeeper calculated the amount and said, That's a total of 18 spirit stones. Please pay up front. Lu Chen choked on the second half of his sentence. You want 18 spirit stones for 3 days? I want the earth-ranked rooms, not the heaven-ranked rooms. One had to know that the value of spirit stones was very high. 18 spirit stones could already buy a lot of ordinary pills. Is this the first time you 2 humans have come to the wildlands? The shopkeeper said impatiently. I'm the only inn nearby. Go and ask who my backer is. If your backer isn't strong enough, why would you dare to open an inn here? There's a cost involved. Let me tell you, you can also stay outside. Do you know that there's someone poisoning the water outside? Do you dare to close your eyes at night? If you close your eyes for 10 minutes, you won't even know how you died. Lu Chen thought about it, and felt that it made sense. There were no laws in the wildlands, so it was normal for people to be squatted outside. We operate with integrity. You can take a look at the residents here. 80% of the rooms are full. Even if you don't believe me, you should at least believe in their choice. The shopkeeper was quite good at talking. Although it was a bit expensive, it seemed to be very safe here. There were more than a dozen people patrolling around. Brother Kuang, in the wildlands for outsiders, I'm afraid that the only safe place is a listed inn. Shuang Ling also said. Lu Chen nodded and quietly opened his backpack. There were a total of 2 spirit stones inside, which were the leftover from the last time he treated his body. Cough cough that how many spirit stones do you have? Lu Chen looked at Shuang Ling. Brother Kuang. I didn't have any chance to make money along the way. I only have 3 left. Although Shuang Ling was poor, she still won against Lu Chen. Brother Kuang, how many do you have? Lu Chen didn't seem to hear the question and said to the shopkeeper, What about the human room? 12 spirit stones. Lu Chen suddenly regretted that he didn't take the spirit stones from Isha. As if seeing Lu Chen's difficulty, Shuang Ling said, How about we stay in the human room and squeeze into a room? Lu Chen felt that he was saved and immediately said to the shopkeeper, The human room costs 2 spirit stones a day, right? We want a room and stay for 2 days. That Shuang Ling, give me your spirit stones first. The shopkeeper put away the 4 spirit stones and looked at Lu Chen contemptuously. Poor bastard. You still brought your girlfriend out to get a room. The second room on the 2nd floor. Lu Chen sighed. He was despised because he was poor. Now there was only 1 spirit stone left. They still had to eat and get some pills for Shuang Ling. The house was quite big. After all, the wildlands was vast and sparsely populated. Opening the window, they could see that at this time, there were still patrols patrolling. Little Green, help Shuangling look at her injuries. Seeing Little Green for the first time, Shuangling said in surprise, "Brother Kuang, is this a ghost pet?" Ghost pets were indeed rare, but most people wouldn't be so surprised. "You seem to have just arrived in Jiutian," Lu Chen said. "Not really. I've been in Jiutian for about 2 years, but I've been in the 4th heavenly layer for the last 1.5 years. I didn't join a sect, and went directly to collect information about the wildlands, so my real experience is a bit short. I've only seen ghost pets in the books of my family." Lu Chen nodded. "It's not easy to be in the 4th heavenly layer alone for so long. It's okay, Little Green is my friend. She's a very good pharmacist. Let her take a look." After the examination, Little Green frowned. "Miss, your injuries, in addition to the 17% physical injury, there are some other special injuries. You can even see this." Shuangling was a little regretful. She underestimated Little Green's medical skills. Now that she had been found out, she no longer hid it. "Our Frost clan doesn't have much time left. Before entering the Jiutian, I planted the black ice worm. Although it can strengthen the ice attack, it will also cause damage to the body after a long time." Lu Chen was a little moved. What had happened to the Frost clan? Why did they use this kind of method to strengthen Shuangling's strength? Chapter 626. Shuangwu also has that black ice worm on her? Shuangling hesitated. "Brother Kuang, don't ask too much. This is actually our Frost clan's secret. But as long as you heal my injuries, I promise I won't drag you down." Lu Chen thought for a while and didn't ask anymore. "And got it. Rest first. And there's only one bed here. You're injured. You sleep. I'll sleep on the floor. Is the floor too hard? Why don't we squeeze? The bed is quite big. It's enough for both of us." Hearing this, Lu Chen's mind raced 180 kilometers per hour. Is this girl too naive? Or is the Frost clan that unrestrained? Speaking of which, Shuangwu is very reserved. "Come on, you sleep beside me." Shuangling was very enthusiastic as she pulled Lu Chen. Lu Chen wanted to refuse, but there seemed to be a voice telling him that maybe she did it on purpose? "In Jiutian, it seems like it's possible. Brother Kuang, I promise you'll feel good later." After wandering for so many years, he finally waited for this day. "That's not too good. We've only known each other for less than a day. Isn't it a bit too fast?" "What's there to be fast about? It's fine." Shuangling pulled Lu Chen to the side of the bed, while she went around to lie down on the other side. "Brother Kuang, quickly lie down. TSK, the other party seems to be very anxious. Do you want to take a bath or something?" Lu Chen asked. "Up to you. I'm a bit tired. I'll need to use some spirit power later. I don't want to take a bath." "Using spirit power? Using spirit power. Wouldn't it be too intense?" Lu Chen was getting more and more curious. After lying down, Lu Chen was a bit nervous. "Speaking of which, Louie wouldn't enter my room at this time, right? She wouldn't see something she shouldn't see, right? Are you done lying down? Then I'll start?" Lu Chen took a deep breath. "If I use spirit power, the movement won't be too big, right? It's not good to disturb others. Then I'll control it. And okay. Frost barrier." Suddenly, the entire room was filled with frost and water vapor condensed. The guest room had turned into a sparkling palace. The temperature of the surrounding air suddenly dropped, completely isolating them from the heat waves of the outside world. But they didn't feel cold. At the same time, an ice wall was erected on the bed between Lu Chen and Shuangling. Lu Chen almost collapsed. Why was it like this? Could it be that what Shuangling said was true? On the other side of the transparent ice wall, Shuangling knocked on the ice wall and smiled at Lu Chen. She put her hands together and placed them beside her head. She was going to sleep. Lu Chen nodded. "Sleep, sleep." That night, Shuangling slept soundly. Lu Chen did not sleep well at all. He could only lie on the bed and cultivate his primordial chaos spiritual power. The next day, Shuangling also got up very early. After putting away the frost barrier, the two of them went out. Although it was called a town, it was just that there were more people here. There were no walls, no guards, and even the roads were made by people. Everyone was very vigilant as they walked on the road. Other than their own people, they kept a large distance from others. Is this the wildlands? Lu Chen shook his head. Why do these people want to live in such a place? Isn't it very tiring? Shuang Ling said. Brother Kuang, some of them are wanted people who have nowhere to go, so they stayed here. Some of them are former mercenaries who got tired of the mercenary life, so they moved here to join a force to survive. However, these two types of people are not the most terrifying here. Shuang Ling was worthy of being someone who had collected information about the wildlands for a long time. Although it was her first time here, she knew a lot. Wanted criminals and mercenaries who only wanted money were not the most terrifying. Lu Chen asked with interest. Oh, who are the most terrifying people here? The natives of the wildlands and the super powerhouses, who are preparing to enter the heaven-reaching tower. Do not provoke these two types of people. Even if I know that Brother Kuang is very strong, it is still very dangerous. The natives and the people who are going to enter the heaven-reaching tower. Yes, the heaven-reaching boss is extremely powerful. Those who have the confidence to enter the heaven-reaching tower are naturally not weak. This place is relatively close to the heaven-reaching tower, and you can find powerful monsters here to make the final preparations for entering the tower. As for the natives here, it is said that the blood of the origami flows in their bodies. It is just that they do not want to leave this place and will not enter the tower. Lu Chen was quite shocked. In fact, the Protoss also claim that they have the blood of the gods, but it is too long ago. Even the proof of their ancestors' existence is difficult to obtain. However, the natives of the wildlands are different. According to my information, the tomb of the gods is in the wildlands. In other words, they have lived in the territory of their ancestors for generations. The inheritance they have obtained is more complete than the Protoss. The blood of the gods should not be the same thing as the blood of the gods. It seemed to be closer to Lu Chen's blood. Brother Kuang, if there is anything you want to know, just ask me. Lu Chen nodded. Now was not the time to delay. It was better to help Shuang Ling recover from her physical injuries. Where can I make money? Well, it is generally difficult for outsiders to make money. If you have valuable things that you have not sold, the chances of being robbed are higher if you casually trade with other forces. I know two more stable methods. One is to barter with the natives. Although they are rude and unreasonable, they are very trustworthy. Unfortunately, it is difficult to gain the trust of the natives. They will not trade with unfamiliar people. If you enter their territory rashly, you will be killed. There is another method. Let's not talk about it. It is too dangerous. Lu Chen smiled slightly. You are still keeping me in suspense. What is it? Tell me. I will act according to my ability. This? If you don't tell us, how can we not go to the tomb of the gods? Speaking of the tomb of the gods, Shuang Ling gritted her teeth and said, the second method is actually the most common. People who have just arrived usually use this method to accumulate their first funds. What is it? The Caged Beast Arena. Shuang Ling pushed a document over. It was a screenshot of a picture on a stone tablet. The Caged Beast Arena is an entertainment project for the rich here. In the past, the rules were that they would put 100 contestants in the Caged Beast Arena. These contestants would fight each other in the Caged Beast Arena and have to deal with powerful beasts, traps, and so on. Those who last until the end of the allotted time will be rewarded with spirit stones. If they are lucky and perform well in the competition, they will be appreciated by the leader of a tribe and have the opportunity to exchange items with them. He didn't know why this competition system was quite familiar. How long do you have to last? 3 hours. Or until the last person is left. In fact, the contestants have learned to be smart. Many people often don't take the initiative to fight with others in order to preserve their strength. So in more cases, they can receive the reward when the time is up. Lu Chen frowned slightly. It doesn't feel that difficult. At the very least, I can survive for 3 hours. However, perhaps it is because of this situation that the viewing value of the competition is reduced, Shuang Ling said. The current rules should be to put 100 people in the Caged Beast Arena. In addition, they will put in 30 map level bosses above level 200 and add some special domain barriers. Most importantly, there will be 5 to 10 more hunters in each caged beast arena. The hunters will be greatly enhanced, and they are all super powerhouses. It is almost impossible to defeat them. They will kill the contestants in the caged beast arena, while they have the full view of the caged beast arena. As far as I know, the current caged beast arena basically ends when there is only one person left, because no one can last more than 3 hours. Chapter 627. Shuang Ling did a sufficient investigation and continued. About 10 years ago, the caged beast arena had always been the main way for outsiders to earn money. However, with the change of the rules, it seems that many people prefer to form gangs and rob others. Lu Chen nodded. When he first came to the barbarian land, he encountered a small group of bandits. Their strength was not enough to form a large local force, so they could only wait for newcomers to make a living. Brother Quang, although the income of the caged beast arena is high, it is too dangerous after all. If we encounter a ruthless hunter, it is possible to be killed. It is safer for us to join other forces. With your strength, it should not be difficult to find a powerful organization. Lu Chen smiled slightly. Didn't I say that I don't like to team up with unfamiliar people? Let's go to the caged beast arena to take a look. The caged beast arena was in the wild, but there were recruitment notices in all the nearby towns. Lu Chen and the others soon found the recruitment notice on the town's bulletin board. Caged Beast Arena, number 6742. Sponsors: Holy Maiden Tribe, Kazan Tribe, Graceful Snake Legion, Death Legion, Tyrannosaurus Guild. This was the first time Lu Chen had seen an army in the fourth heaven. From the second heaven onwards, guilds, which were free to join, had been replaced by clans and even tribes. They were all groups of people who had close ties with each other offline. Perhaps the barbarian land was full of desperados, so this kind of organization appeared again. He continued to read. Winning prize, 20,000 spirit stones. Outstanding performers. Number of participants, 100. Number of hunters, 10. After many efforts, we have finally facilitated this purgatory level arena. The 4 top forces are sponsoring, and the prize is as high as 20,000 spirit stones. The prize is unique. There are already many strong people who have applied to join this competition. There is also a hunting team formed by mysterious strong people. It will definitely be a battle between the strong. This competition will be held in the top division of the Barbarian God Palace. There are only 3,462 tickets left out of the 10,000 tickets. If you want to buy them, hurry up. At the same time, we are recruiting participants. Due to the strength of the hunters, it is recommended that strong people who have the combat power of a heaven general or above apply. For some races, such as the human race, the strength requirement is higher. Currently there are 22 spots left. Perhaps it was because the scale of the trapped beast arena this time was indeed very large. There were also many people looking at the recruitment notice. They kept a safe distance from each other and looked at the notice board from afar. The safe distance did not prevent them from chatting. The Saintly Maiden Tribe is sponsoring it? That's 20,000 spirit stones. If you win, you'll really be rich. Generally, the prize for a small-scale beast trap arena is only a few thousand. It's been a long time since the last purgatory beast trapping ground. I heard that the entrance fee is 10 spirit stones. Just the tickets alone can be sold for 100,000 spirit stones. That's a huge profit. Don't be jealous. It takes a lot of preparation work to set up an arena of this level. The venue, the fame of the sponsors, and the cost of the hunters are also a lot. I heard that the hunters this time are all super strong. It seems that there is also that butcher. Butcher is here too? That guy didn't become a hunter to make money at all. His hobby is to slaughter. He is definitely a homicidal maniac. There will always be brave men when there is a big reward. If there is not such a big reward, who would participate in such a dangerous competition? Everyone wants to be one of the 1%, but they forget that most people will only be one of the 99 people. Although money is important, life is more important. If you don't have some skills, don't go to your death. The notice board looked old, but it still had a projection function. Lu Chen walked to the notice board and clicked on it. A fiable menu was projected in front of him. Sign up. The people around looked at this human in surprise. Human? He's a newcomer. He probably doesn't know how terrifying the barbarian land is. There are always people who don't know their own strength when they just come. Who cares? Just let him die. Shuangling ran to Lu Chen's side and hurriedly pulled Lu Chen's sleeve. She whispered, "Brother Kuang, what are you doing? Are you crazy?" Lu Chen smiled slightly. "You heard it too. It's rare to have such a big reward. It's a loss if you don't sign up." A loss. But, at this time, new content popped up on the window interface. Please enter your ID, race, and previous military rank in the Immortal Army. Solipsistic human military rank. I've never joined the Immortal Army. Lu Chen directly answered. When he finished speaking, there was a burst of laughter around him. This human hasn't even joined the Immortal Army. He couldn't have come out from some sect to gain experience, right? Ha 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 ha, I'm dying of laughter. A human who hasn't even joined the Immortal Army actually came to play the Caged Beast Arena. Kid, don't be so scared that you'll pee your pants. Human kid, after you die, I'll take care of your woman for you. Rest assured that you can die. A dwarf wretchedly looked at Shuangling. Shuangling had a sickly look on her face, but she was still very beautiful. Moreover, dwarves were looking at humans, so it was natural for them to have extra points. Seeing Shuangling's appearance, the dwarf couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Lu Chen turned his head and looked at the dwarf coldly. If you have any crooked thoughts, I don't mind killing you now. What did you say? You humans don't have any special skills, and you dare to be arrogant in front of me. Shuangling hurriedly pulled Lu Chen. Brother Kuang, don't do anything here. I don't know how many people are behind him. Lu Chen was just about to make a move when a new message popped up on the window. He had to fill in the registration form first. Your personal information has been entered. Click OK to register for the competition. Yes. Registration successful. There are currently 17 places left. Your participation number is 83. The competition will be held at 7 p.m. tonight. Please be prepared in advance. The window retracted back to the bulletin board. When Lu Chen looked back again, the dwarf had been pulled away by his companions. Not only him, but the people around him also left. And why did they all leave? They should be ready to bet. Shuangling shrugged. The ticket income of the Caged Beast Arena is only a small part. The gambling business is the big part. Shuangling said with some embarrassment. There are many kinds of gambling. They can bet on the champion, or the survival time of each contestant. I guess they went to bet on you. Lu Chen shook his head. Damn it, we only have one spirit stone now. Our capital is too little. Brother Kuang, you still want to bet? Of course, where is the betting point? One spirit stone is too little. Let's bet on it too. Shuangling took Lu Chen to the betting point in the town. The person in charge looked up at Lu Chen and said lazily, How much? 5-card stud. How much is that? 1 spirit stone. The person stopped registering information and looked up at Lu Chen again. Seeing the other party's serious look, he shook his head. 1 spirit stone could also be bet. What are you betting on? Number 83. Number 83 human? You bet on this person just now. You also bet that he can't last 10 minutes? I bet on him to be the champion, Lu Chen said lightly. Chapter 628. Later on, Lu Chen found out that most people wouldn't bother the contestants. After all, the competitions were organized by some big forces, and they relied on the contestants to make money. At noon, Lu Chen found some dry food from his backpack. After eating, he went to the desolate god palace. Shuangling looked very uneasy, so Lu Chen casually chatted with her. Where is the tomb of the god of sin? I only know the general direction. When the time comes, we'll have to look for it carefully. Lu Chen nodded. You said that all the treasures in the tomb of the god of sin belong to me, and you only want one. What is it? This is related to the fate of the Frost clan. Brother Kuang, it's not convenient for me to say. Lu Chen smiled. He and Shuangwu had gone through life and death several times, and that was how they built trust between each other. Shuangling was more or less wary of him, which was normal. However, he could roughly guess that what Shuangling was looking for must be related to his unknown map. In addition, there was a piece of the demon god's lotus heart fragment in the barren land. He didn't know if it was in the tomb of the god of sin. By the way, Shuangling, when I heard them talking, I felt that they were in awe of the Saintess tribe. Oh, it's like this, Brother Quang. After many generations of reproduction, the original tribes were divided into various small tribes. However, in order to ensure that their strength wouldn't decline, the leaders of each tribe were once important figures in the desolate god tribe, and their bloodline was pure. The ancestor of the leader of the Saintess tribe was once the Saintess of the desolate god tribe. She was the strongest under the desolate god, so the strength of the Saintess tribe can be seen. Next is the high priest, the great wizard, and then the 8 great warriors. The strength of these tribes is the strongest among the original tribes. By the way, the Kazan tribe is the descendant of the second great warrior Kazan. They are also very strong. By the way, what kind of race are they? It is said that the desolate god is lustful, so his descendants are mixed. However, he seems to prefer a human woman. Among his descendants, humans make up the majority. Lu Chen couldn't help but frown. Although humans are weak, it seems that many races are quite envious of their appearance. In the past, when I went to the shifter territory, they liked to transform into human appearance. Shuangling sighed. That's true. Many races are envious of the human race's appearance, but all that's left of the human race is their skin. Lu Chen nodded, and then suddenly thought of a problem. The demonic lotus heart was stored in the 9 camps a long time ago, and then 4 of them were lost. This should be a long time ago. Then, according to the strength of the barren land, the fragment in the trance land may fall into the hands of the origami. After many years of evolution, it was not impossible for it to be passed down to a native tribe. My initial guess is that the heart of the god fiend's lotus heart fragment might be in a hidden dungeon or in a native tribe. Thinking of this, Lu Chen could only shake his head. The power of the godly demon set was shocking, but the difficulty of completing the godly demon set was similarly daunting. The two chatted as they walked, and in the afternoon, they arrived near the desolate god palace. Lu Chen learned from Shuangling that the desolate god palace was not the desolate god ruins. It was originally a semi-abandoned building complex. The buildings were quite tribal. They were all mud houses, and the highest one was only 2 stories. Because of the large-scale beast trap arena, almost every time the Purgatory Beast Trap Arena was held, the organizers would transform the terrain here. In order to increase the difficulty of the Beast Trap Arena, the organizers would not announce the new layout of the Desolate God Palace before the competition began. At this time, the Desolate God Palace was full of people. There were contestants, spectators, and patrols. During the competition, fighting was prohibited, so the people here finally did not have to keep such a safe distance. It's rare to see so many people in the barren land. Hasn't the hunter come yet? It is said that the butcher is also here. It would be strange if the butcher didn't come to such an exciting competition. This time, I'm afraid many people will be dismembered. That guy is addicted to killing. The prize money is high enough. Otherwise, who would participate in the competition? There are many people who can't survive. What's the point of worrying about this? I bet on the right thing. This time, I will definitely win back all my previous losses. Not long after, a flying dragon mount landed not far away. When the people around saw who it was, they suddenly quieted down and consciously made a path. Lu Chen pulled Shuangling and watched in the crowd. Brother Quang, do you see the symbol on their chest? A spear. This is the Kazan tribe. No one from the Kazan tribe was wearing clothes. They were all wearing equipment. 30 to 40 people ignored everyone around them and walked straight into the desolate god palace that had not been officially opened. Lu Chen noticed that when these people walked, one person was protected in the middle. That person should be the leader of the Kazan tribe. After the Kazan tribe arrived, the 4 major forces mentioned in the advertisement, Graceful Snake, Death Legion, and a group of small and medium-sized forces, Tyrannosaurus Guild, Dripping Blood Guild, and so on arrived. At this time, There was a commotion in the crowd. Many people looked up at the sky. A huge white bird flew across the sky and circled above the desolate god palace for a few weeks before landing. Then, a dozen women in luxurious equipment walked down from the white bird, each wearing a helmet. In the middle of them was a woman who was not wearing any equipment. She was wearing a translucent white veil, showing off her graceful figure. Unlike most of the natives who had dark skin, her skin was exceptionally white. A string of silver bell anklets hung on her bare ankles, jingling as she walked. She wore light silver accessories on her head, and half of her face was covered with a veil, revealing only a pair of bright eyes. They were as clear as water, making people's hearts beat faster. What clear eyes! Lu Chen also sighed. Just this pair of eyes was enough to make Lu Chen feel like he was a celestial being. However, just as Lu Chen was in a daze, Shuangling hurriedly pulled him back. "Brother Kuang, don't look. That's disrespectful to the saintess." Only then did Lu Chen come back to his senses. He found that almost all the people around him had their heads down. Even the dwarves who coveted the beauty of the human race did not dare to look at her more. Only he foolishly raised his head, which seemed a bit different. Gazes were always mutual. Immediately, 4 or 5 of the saintess subordinates pushed aside the people around Lu Chen and grabbed Lu Chen's shoulder. "How dare you look directly at the saintess? Dig out his eyes." Shuangling hurriedly explained. "Sorry, we're new here. He doesn't know the rules." "Then we'll help him remember." Lu Chen frowned slightly. This group of people was really tyrannical. Seeing that the other party was about to make a move, Lu Chen suddenly said, "Hey, you dug out my eyes. Are you trying to cheat in the competition?" "What competition is cheating? I'm a contestant." Lu Chen smiled. "If you dig out my eyes now, won't that disrupt the balance of the competition?" These people didn't expect this guy to be a contestant. "You, a human? I see that you're only in your 20s. How could you have been a great general?" The recruitment advertisement said that if a human signed up for the competition, their military rank would be higher than that of other powerful races. This way they wouldn't die so easily. Lu Chen smiled. Number 83 Solipsistic. Check it out yourself. At this moment, that pair of clear eyes also looked over. "Human, are you sure you're not here to die?" Lu Chen shook off their hands, looked at the saintess and said calmly, "I hope you pay more attention to me. If I can last until the end, I want to talk to you about a deal." Chapter 629. Under the veil, he could vaguely see the saintess smiling. Interesting. Then he retracted his gaze, called back his subordinates, and went straight into the desolate god palace. Walking far away, the saintess' sweet voice suddenly sounded. "You want to make a deal with our saintess tribe? Let's survive first." Seeing the people of the saintess tribe leave, Shuangling finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Brother Kuang, you're too bold. You actually negotiated with the saintess." "Sigh. It's my fault for not telling you clearly at the beginning." Lu Chen smiled. "It's just a business deal. What's there to be afraid of?" At this moment, Lu Chen suddenly felt a stench getting stronger and stronger. He looked up and found an ugly creature, about 4 meters tall, walking towards him. When the surrounding people saw this guy, they scattered in panic. It's the butcher. It's said that because he likes to dismember corpses, he's poisoned and smells rotten. It's true. Keep your voice down. Do you want to die?" Lu Chen frowned and looked at the butcher. The guy's skin was white, but it was completely different from the saintess. The butcher's skin was like dead meat that had been soaked in water for a long time. Under the equipment, he could still see a large area of necrosis on his body. The stench was probably caused by muscle necrosis. He didn't seem to have eyelids. His eyes were very round and couldn't blink. Only his eyeballs could move. This guy was tall and had a big belly. He had an exaggerated smile on his face. Coupled with his special eyes and rotten flesh, it made people feel creepy. His shoulders and waist were wrapped with dark red chains, and there were 2 hooked knives on his waist. They were also shining with blood. Lu Chen frowned more and more. Was this guy the butcher? From the 1st heaven to the 4th heaven, Lu Chen had encountered many demons who killed people like flies. However, they all had their own reasons. But this guy, It was said that killing and dismembering was just a hobby. The butcher walked straight to Lu Chun, as if there was no one else around. His eyes were full of excitement. He licked his lips. A human contestant? Ha 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 ha. I like this skin very much. Leave it to me. Just now Lu Chun said that he was a contestant. This guy should have heard it. Everyone's faces turned pale. That human has been targeted by the butcher. He can consider himself unlucky. He must have been dismembered on the spot. I heard that the butcher doesn't even wait for the victim to die when he dismembers them. He dismembers them while they're still alive. I think that kid will be scared to death before he even gets on the stage. However, Lu Chun raised his head to look at the butcher and said indifferently, "Get lost. I'm here to make money, not to kill pigs." Everyone's jaws dropped. Ha 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 ha, interesting. I don't like prey that can't resist. I like people like you who aren't afraid of death. The more you struggle, the more excited I am. That's how fun it is to play. Lu Chun sneered. Is that so? Then you must find me as soon as possible during the competition. Don't make me wait too long. Shuang Ling was so scared that her face turned pale. She desperately tried to pull Lu Chun away, but Lu Chun didn't care at all. Alright, don't worry. I'll find you soon, my little baby. Ha 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 ha. After the butcher left, Shuang Ling was sweating profusely. Brother Kuang, why don't we forfeit? You've been targeted by the butcher before you even get on the stage. What should we do? Lu Chun smiled. Don't think too much. Trust me. Aye. Seeing Shuang Ling's hands still trembling, Lu Chun felt sorry for this girl. The appearance of the saintess and the butcher had scared her. But she wasn't a particularly brave girl. However, for the Frost clan, she had consumed the black ice worm and collected information in the 4th layer of heaven. She was braver than many people when she came to the wildlands. Shuang Ling was like that, and so was Shuang Wu. They worked hard in the 3rd layer of heaven. They both wanted to change the fate of the Frost clan. Alright, I promise you that I won't make you so worried next time. How about it? Lu Chun smiled and looked at Shuang Ling. Shuang Ling nodded sadly. Next time? Hopefully there will be a next time. At 6 o'clock in the evening, the audience seats of the Desolate God Palace were finally opened, and the contestants could enter the preparation area. Contestants could bring one person into the preparation area, and Lu Chun brought Shuang Ling with him. Human, are you here to die? The guard checked Lu Chun's information. There really is one. Go in. Lu Chun didn't know how many times he had heard this kind of words, and he was too lazy to argue. The preparation area was closed, and the contestants couldn't know the new terrain of the Desolate God Palace in advance. Lu Chun read the rules of the competition. When the competition began, they would be teleported to various parts of the Desolate God Palace through the teleportation door in the preparation area. After familiarizing themselves with the environment for a short time, the hunters would enter, and the hunt would begin. Of course, the contestants could attack each other, and to encourage this behavior, killing a contestant could also make them disappear from the hunter's map for 5 minutes. Although it wasn't certain that they wouldn't encounter a hunter, it greatly increased their chances of survival. As for the other methods in the competition, there was only one principle, and that was no principle. Any method, health damage, physical damage, and whether the method was cruel or not, there was no limit. The contestants only had one goal, and that was to survive until the end. There were still 2 kinds of winning conditions in name. Either holding on for 3 hours, or being the last survivor, would be considered a victory. There were many races in the preparation area, and some of them were races that Lu Chun had never seen before. Looking at their restrained eyes and even breathing, it wasn't hard to guess that they were all very strong. Many of them saw Lu Chun, and their eyes would stay on him for a short time. Human? Are you kidding me? At least there's already one to fall back on. We can kill this person first and fight for 5 minutes of hiding time. This time, the hunter is extraordinary. If we can hide for 5 minutes, we might even change the outcome. Lu Chun shook his head. The human race was too weak, and he was treated as a soft persimmon as soon as he arrived. Brother Kuang. I don't have any supplementary pills. It's okay. You just stay here and wait for me to come back, okay? Okay. The preparation time soon came, and at this time, waves of cheers could already be heard outside. In a place like the barbarian land, the trapped beast arena had become the most important window for people to vent their emotions. Everyone became very excited. In the preparation area, there was a broadcast. The trapped beast arena will officially start in 5 minutes. Contestants, please enter the portal within 2 minutes. All the contestants got up and walked to the 5 portals. Lu Chen also stood up. Brother Kwang, you have to be careful. Okay, I know. Wait for me to come back. After entering the portal, Lu Chen's vision was temporarily dark, and he randomly appeared in an area of the desolate god palace. Lu Chen looked around and waited for a moment. He could see 2 contestants refresh not far from him. The 2 of them seemed to have noticed Lu Chen's position. From their excited eyes, Lu Chen seemed to have understood that this time, he might not only have to face the defenders. In the number 1 VIP room, the environment here was in sharp contrast to the noise outside. The room was spacious, and there were all kinds of fruits and drinks on the coffee table. The people of the Saintly Maiden tribe were watching the game through the projection. Where is the position of number 83? Under the veil, the saintess's sweet voice sounded. Her subordinates immediately pulled up Lu Chen's position. At this time, the average contestant was looking for a place to hide. Only he was still foolishly standing at the spawn point looking around. The saintess's clear eyes glanced at him and shook her head slightly. I'm afraid he will be the first to be eliminated. Chapter 630. There was still a minute or 2 before the start of the match. Lu Chen seized the time and took a look at his bets. Number 83, solipsistic. The number of bets placed on him was far ahead. 220,000 spirit stones bet on him, not being able to last for 10 minutes, and 40,000 spirit stones bet on him, not being able to last for 20 minutes. Too many people bet on him, causing the odds of these 2 events to be very low. Among the many betting messages, one message was particularly eye-catching. Number 83, solipsistic human, 1 spirit stone bet to win the championship. This message stood out from the rest, and was displayed all by itself. And its odds were also extremely terrifying. If he won, he would get a reward of 10,000 spirit stones. Sigh, the capital is too little. Lu Chen shook his head. If I had 10 spirit stones, it would be great to get 100,000 spirit stones. While Lu Chen was lost in his thoughts, the match officially began. The 3 domains have been opened. The hunter will enter in 5 minutes. The system prompted. Lu Chen looked at his status. Attack weakened, displacement increased by 20 seconds, stamina consumption, pure spirit energy consumption increased by 500%. The recovery effect of pills was completely ineffective, elemental resistance decreased by 70%, and the effect of all enchantment skills below heaven level was reduced by 30%. Lu Chen didn't care about these statuses. In any case, as long as he was willing to open the chaos domain, these statuses would disappear. The 2 people not far away had already hidden in the dark. Lu Chen thought for a moment, and roughly knew their strategy. They would definitely keep an eye on him. But the reason why they hadn't made a move yet was probably because they were waiting for the hunter to enter. After figuring out the hunter's position, they would definitely not let go of the opportunity if they had the chance. Lu Chen didn't hide. He found a shade and sat down. Someone immediately noticed the strange behavior of this guy. Damn, look at that human number 83. What is he doing? Isn't he hiding? Although the hunter has a full view of the desolate god palace, he doesn't have the ability to go through walls. So hiding in the house is better to avoid the hunter. That guy is actually sitting in the shade of a tree. Does he think that the hunter won't spawn around him? I think he has given up struggling. How strong can a human at his age be? Participating in the caged beast arena is the same as courting death. 5 minutes later, the hunters entered the arena. 10 super experts randomly appeared in various locations of the desolate god palace. As soon as they appeared, they entered the surrounding houses. A few moments later, several towers exploded, and the contestants who were found fled frantically. Ha 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 ha, my little baby, don't run, let me dote on you. The game is finally starting. I'm so excited. You want to escape from me? Dream on. Come on, I'll let you run for a while. Find me a few more people. Each hunter's means were different. Some deliberately kept a distance and didn't chase. They knew that in order to survive, these people would not run aimlessly. They would deliberately run into other people's hiding places. If he could drag one more person down with him, he might have a chance to escape. In this place, everyone would do anything to survive. However, there was another person who was very different. In VIP Lounge 1, the Saintess narrowed her eyes slightly. Contestant number 83 was leaning against a tree, resting with his eyes closed. He looked as if he was so bored that he was about to fall asleep. This guy, sleeping in the caged beast arena. A guard at the side couldn't take it anymore. Isn't his heart too big? I think the more you want to die, the harder it is for you to die. His luck is really good. As long as there are hunters around him, he will definitely die. In the end, he didn't encounter any hunters. Shuang Ling had just heaved a sigh of relief. As a spectator, she could see the position of the hunters. They were still quite far away from Brother Quang. Those hunters now had targets, so they shouldn't come looking for him. However, Brother Quang actually didn't find a place to hide. Instead, he just leaned against the tree and rested. My big brother, you are. I'm really going to be angered to death by you. Hurry up and hide first, please. Lu Chen seemed to have heard Shuang Ling's call. He turned around and changed into a comfortable position to continue resting. In just a short moment, 7 people had already been eliminated, all of them dead. The other 2 were playing cat and mouse. The most miserable one was still the butcher's target. At this time, the butcher's fat and stinky body was pressing down on the contestant. Ignoring his pleas, the butcher cruelly dismembered him. The scene was too bloody, but there were many people cheering. When the butcher stood up, that person's body was left with a pile of blood and bones. Haha, fun, too fun. The butcher laughed wildly. Right, where is my number 83 baby? Where are you hiding? I must find you. When the hunters entered the arena, they completely stirred up the entire desolate god palace. The contestants were either directly discovered or framed by others. In short, a large number of contestants fled for their lives. The atmosphere of the audience was getting more and more intense. In such an environment, Lu Chen was still lying under a small tree to rest. 20 minutes, Lu Chen still hadn't opened his eyes. No way, that guy just leaned against the tree and held on until now. I bet that he would be eliminated in 10 minutes, but my blood pressure. Did you see that just now? The Kazan tribe's hunters passed by him not far away, but they didn't notice him. Sigh, if it were me, I wouldn't notice it either. All the contestants in front of me were running for their lives. A normal person wouldn't do such a thing. Who would have thought that he was lying there motionless, almost merging with the tree? The Saintess was amused by Lu Chen. She covered her face and laughed, only revealing her curved eyes. That number 83 is a bit interesting. The underling disdainfully said. Saintess, I think he is just lucky. I really admire him. Just now Daipa didn't even see him. Is she blind? Another person said. Luck is also a part of strength. He made us earn a lot of money from the bet. Speaking of the bet, this guy had indeed contributed his strength. Almost all the people who bet on him were focused on the 10 minutes and 20 minutes elimination options. Now that he had lasted for more than 20 minutes, the people who bet on him had already lost. The arena became more and more bloody, and the number of people who were eliminated continued to rise. At this time, the hunters couldn't find Lu Chen, but a contestant who was in a hurry saw the guy who merged with the tree. No way, that is a human. That person couldn't believe his eyes. The caged beast arena had been going on for almost 40 minutes, and there was a person sleeping under the tree. This simply subverted his understanding. It's that human. At this point, if someone could completely hide himself for 5 minutes, it was absolutely crucial. Thinking of this, that person didn't say anything and rushed towards Lu Chen. Thank God, I can still meet this kind of idiot at this time. Human, become a stepping stone on my road to becoming a king. Chapter 631. Finally, Someone discovered the person hiding under the tree. The saintess ordered her men to zoom in on Lu Chen's location. Her subordinates were shocked. Generally speaking, the most exciting fight would be from the perspective of the hunter. The hunter was powerful, while the contestant was trying his best to survive. That was the most exciting fight. However, this time, the saintess was actually interested in that human. She didn't even look at the other hunters. It was really rare. Saintess, don't you need to pay attention to the number of people killed by the halberd? It doesn't matter. If she can't get first place, let her come to me to apologize. I think this kid is a bit interesting. At this time, the ambusher had already appeared in front of Lu Chen. The two immortal sabers in his hands were aimed at Lu Chen's face. At this time, a furry little thing drilled out from behind Lu Chen. It jumped up and bit the man's eyes. No one noticed that this human had a pet with him. Furthermore, this seemingly harmless little thing could move so quickly. Squeak, squeak, squeak. The furry little thing bit the ambusher's eyes. The man was also very strong. He reacted quickly, and quickly withdrew his attack. At the same time he turned his head. However, the furry little thing was even faster. It was hard to get rid of it once it climbed onto the man's body. The furry little thing didn't bite the man's eyes. Instead, it bit the man's nose. Ah, what the hell is this? Or is it physical damage? Not only physical damage, but it also had a lot of debuffs. The man felt pain on his face. He wanted to roll on the ground to get rid of it. However, the furry little thing drilled into his back and bit his shoulder. It was a bloody mess. What is this thing? The furry little thing turned into a white shadow and shuttled back and forth on the man's body. Saber Sword Tyrant Body Domain. The man forcefully activated his skill. His whole body was covered in Tyrant Body Chi. He finally managed to send the furry little thing flying. However, in just a few seconds his body had been bitten in many places. His physical damage was more than 30%. Damn it, The man wanted to attack, but he changed his mind. If he fought with an unknown little monster, he might be seriously injured again. He still had some medicinal pills. His current injuries could still be treated. If he was seriously injured again, it would be troublesome. 5 minutes of concealment was no longer worth it when compared to the serious injuries on his body. The man covered his nose, and his hands were covered in blood. However, he also realized that the little monster did not chase after him. It seemed to be protecting the sleeping man, and would not stray too far from him. After thinking for a while, that guy narrowed his eyes slightly. I won't waste my time with you, but don't think you'll have an easy time either. Water-splitting whirlwind blade. After saying that, the man brandished his two blades, drawing out several sword chi. He didn't attack Lu Chen. Instead, he released several streaks of sword chi towards Lu Chen's vicinity, destroying several houses before quickly disappearing. The underling of the holy lady snorted coldly. That fella sure is a coward. To think that he wouldn't dare to fight with that human. Another subordinate said, It's not that he doesn't dare to fight. The most important thing for the contestants is to preserve their strength. That human's pet is quite strange. He didn't act rashly when he didn't know what was going on. That was a wise choice. Moreover, releasing his skill before leaving can also attract hunters. It's a way to kill with a borrowed knife. The holy lady nodded slightly. Pearl hair clip, you should learn more from your sister. Don't just look at the surface of things. Yes, holy lady, Pearl hair clip will remember. But why hasn't that man woken up yet? This is too abnormal. The holy lady shook her head. He woke up a long time ago. Or rather, he didn't sleep at all. He just didn't make a move. On the screen, Little Fur Ball was lying on Lu Chen's shoulder. Lu Chen raised his hand to let Little Fur Ball jump onto his palm. He didn't open his eyes but lightly said, Great, I won again. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Are you afraid that hunters will hear the sound and find me? Come on, I've been bored for a long time. The sneak attacker was moving towards the direction where there were fewer hunters. Just as he was about to flash away, dozens of chains quickly shuttled through space, blocking his path. Iron chain traversing. High heaven rank teleportation skill cannot pass through. The chains rolled like pythons and immediately sealed the man in the middle. Seeing the blood-red chains, the man's face suddenly turned pale. His eyes were filled with horror. 2 Butcher. It's Butcher. All the contestants, if they couldn't avoid encountering hunters, the last thing they wanted to encounter was Butcher. That guy was so cruel that it made people tremble in fear. Sure enough, a fat figure leisurely appeared in front of the chains. His lidless eyes seemed especially deranged. Ha 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 ha. I caught a little baby. Now I have something to play with. This time I'm going to skin you alive. The contestant's legs trembled. In his mind, the scene of Butcher peeling off his skin and pulling out his tendons appeared. With a plop, the man knelt on the ground. 2 Butcher, don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Butcher's smile didn't change. As he spoke, he approached. Oh, are you afraid? I can smell the fear on your body. I like it. At the critical moment of life and death, the contestant's mind turned quickly. Suddenly, he remembered an important clue. That human just now had a conversation with Butcher before the competition. Butcher also said that he would take special care of that kid. Butcher, I'll tell you where number 83 is. You let me go. Butcher actually stopped in his tracks. You said you know number 83? That young human? Yes, that's him. Butcher thought for a moment and removed the chains. Take me there. Okay, I'll lead the way. That guy's luck was surprisingly good. Wuxia was still there. Butcher, it's there. I didn't lie to you, right? Can you let me go now? Yes, scram. The man hurriedly fled. But suddenly, a sickle-shaped iron hook pierced his body from behind. The tip of the hook poked out from his lower abdomen. -3. 4 million. This was the damage to his health bar. At the same time, it caused 28% damage to his body. A strong pulling force came from behind. The man was directly pulled back by the chain. Huh. Didn't I tell you to leave? Why are you back? The man was speechless for a long time. Wasn't he pulled back by Butcher's chain? You went back on your words. We clearly agreed that if I help you find number 83, you will let me go. Yes, I let you go. However, I didn't say that I won't catch you again. Butcher's smile was abnormally terrifying. He. You want to escape from my hands? You must be dreaming. That human kid dares to be arrogant in front of me. I will let him see my means with his own eyes. Then, I will let him enjoy my special treatment and fear. With that, Butcher carried the chain and dragged the contestant in front of Wuxia. At this time, more and more people were paying attention to this scene. Shuangling's heart was in her throat. Solipsistic didn't meet any hunters in 40 minutes. However, the first one he met was actually Butcher. The saintess elegantly raised her wine cup and gently took a sip. She smiled and said, Kid, it seems that your luck has run out. Butcher's special treatment. TSK. That's really disgusting. Chapter 632. Butcher stood in front of Wuxia. Hey kid, I'll let you watch a good show first. I'll let you have a good taste of fear. Ha 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 ha. Have you ever seen someone skin and pull out tendons while they're still alive? That's too wonderful. Coupled with the screams and pleas. I'm excited just thinking about it. I've specially prepared this good show for you, ha 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 ha. Seeing Butcher's almost deranged state, many of the audience could not take it anymore. This guy was really a perverted demon. In front of his prey, he can only watch as others are tortured. This is murderous. Damn really. With Butcher as the hunter in the future, I really can't participate in the battle of trapped beasts. It's too scary. The psychological pressure on the enemy is unimaginable. Thinking that he will die even more miserably in a while. I think that human guy will collapse before the fight even starts. And at this moment Wuxia spoke. I'm not watching. The group of people almost collapsed. What kind of trick was this? Closing his eyes and pretending that nothing happened? Even the noble saintess spat out the wine in her mouth before swallowing it. She could not help but laugh hysterically. This guy, I'm dying of laughter. He actually, ha ha ha, he doesn't play by the rules. Butcher's arrogance seemed to have been doused with a bucket of cold water. His brain short-circuited, and he did not know what to say. You. The carefully prepared show was completely useless. This feeling was too sullen. Of course, this feeling quickly turned into an even more intense anger. You dare to make fun of me? Wuxia also stood up. Are you sick in the head? Your eyes are on me. I can see whatever I want to see. And I can't see whatever I don't want to see. Why do you care? Every day isn't it just dismemberment? You make it sound like it's some kind of technical skill. Do you think anyone can do it? What's there to see? If you turn into a pig, I might find it interesting. Let's see. Butcher was known for his cruelty, not his glib tongue. Lu Chen was not a talkative person, but when it came to rebuking people, he was not ambiguous at all. Butcher had never met such an arrogant contestant. Most people would run when they saw him, but this person directly scolded him. You stink from head to toe. Can't you take a shower? Do I have to kill people by suffocating them to death first before I can win? You. What did you say? I said you stink. You're obviously a pig, but you like a pig. If it wasn't for your stink at the entrance, I would have killed you. You're a disgrace. You're looking for death. U.S. butchers. Butchers. Butchers butcher. Butcher butcher butcher. Butcher of butts. Would it kill you to take a bath? I'll kill you. In the VIP lounge, the Saintess was laughing so hard that she was hugging her stomach. Ha 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 ha. I can't take it anymore. This guy is too funny. Butcher has never met such a person in his life. Ha 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 ha. Lu Chen shook his head. You said you were going to kill me a long time ago. I've been waiting for you here for 40 minutes. As a result, I can't find you like a pig. Are you stupid? I'm just lying here. And you still need others to lead the way to find me? Sorry. I shouldn't have called you a pig. Even a pig is smarter than you. The guy who was hanging on the chain was stunned. Someone dared to talk big in front of Butcher? How big was this guy's heart? Who in the wildlands didn't know Butcher? Who didn't fear Butcher? Even if it was a super expert, they would at least be a little afraid of Butcher. But this guy didn't have a trace of fear, and directly scolded Butcher as a pig. Seeing Butcher speechless for a long time, some people already felt that Butcher was a little pitiful. Butcher swung his hand and flung the person on the chain away. He didn't care about skinning a living person now. Even if he wanted to skin someone, it would be this human brat's skin. Very good. I've never seen such an arrogant guy like you. I'll make you regret it. I'll definitely make you regret it. I'll make you wish you were dead. For the next 2 hours, I'll slowly torture you. That's all you can say. Your knowledge is really lacking. But you're a pig after all. It's normal that you can't speak human language. Lu Chen sneered. What are you standing there for? Do you only know how to talk and not do anything? Butcher was about to explode. It was clearly that brat who had been talking, but he ended up being ridiculed for only knowing how to talk. Okay, then I'm coming. Iron chain crisscross. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The chains in Butcher's hands shuttled through the air, forming 4 iron chain walls, trapping him and Lu Chen in this narrow space. There was no way to dodge in this mere area of a dozen square meters. The two of them had to engage in close combat. This place isn't big. It just so happens that I like this kind of narrow space. Games like this are more interesting. When it came to games, Butcher finally revealed a cruel and evil smile. Corpse poison deep sea domain. Within the chains, corpse poison exploded, filling up the entire space. Infinite lock, shredding platform. A large number of chains shot toward Lu Chen from all directions without any pattern. The edge of the chain had already turned into a sharp blade. This skill was called shredding platform, and it lived up to its name. If one was trapped by these chains, they would probably be cut into pieces. Brat, don't worry. I'll leave you with one last breath. Butcher swung the chain in his hand, spinning the hook, and suddenly threw it out. Moon-plucking, heart-gouging hook. Butcher finally made his move. The Saintess had also finished laughing. It was finally time to make her move. She sighed slightly. Such an interesting person is going to die in Butcher's hands. I actually feel that it's a pity. As the only person who truly cared about Lu Chen's life and death, Shuang Ling was so nervous that she had difficulty breathing. Brother Kuang must win. At this moment, he was completely different from his previous sloppy appearance. It was as if he was a different person. Lu Chen's eyes were filled with boundless killing intent. Lu Chen said coldly, "You want me to be afraid of you? Sorry. I'm afraid the one who should be afraid is you. I don't like to kill people. However, Butcher, you can be an exception. 6 divine transformations. With a boom, Lu Chen's body erupted with a dazzling golden light. However, this time, his eyes didn't change color. They were still clear. Ever since the battle with the Holy War Demon Reverend, Lu Chen could control his emotions better. He raised his hand. The limitless divine demon sword slowly rose. The countless chains around him actually trembled for a short moment. A king has appeared, and only I am supreme. Place of death. Dragon blood boiling. Infinite grace, liberation. Chapter 633. Lu Chen's figure was so fast that it could not be seen clearly. He flashed past. -3,200,000. -3,600,000. -3,400,000. -3,500,000. For bestowal release only dealt 13 million damage. What surprised Lu Chen was that the butcher's HP was as high as 400 million. This HP was even higher than the Holy War Demon Commander. The Holy War Demon Commander was the demon race's great celestial commander. The demon race was strong, but the great celestial commander was even stronger. However, the butcher's HP was 100 million higher than his. Perhaps this guy liked to dismember, for some special reason, that could strengthen his attributes. However, the butcher's biggest mistake was that he trapped himself and Lu Chen in this small space. Lu Chen was not afraid of anyone in melee combat. 10 million damage was completely negligible to the butcher. However, being counterattacked by this human made him furious. Little bastard, you actually have some moves. If you can't kill me, you're dead. Lu Chen snorted coldly. Can't kill you? You think too much. Isn't it just a domain that reduces the attack? Then try this. Shura Doppelganger. Triple Void Shatter. These 3 punches caused the entire desolate god palace to rumble. Countless surrounding buildings collapsed. The people hiding inside inexplicably found that the buildings collapsed just like that. Their faces were filled with horror. What's going on? Which hunter is it? What a terrifying aftershock. Which hunter is it? In the entire audience area, the audience only felt the seats shake violently. A gust of wind blew in their faces, carrying fine sand and gravel. The most shocked were the staff of the desolate god palace. Why did the domain lose its effect? What's going on? It seems like number 83 did it. I'm looking at his image. Impossible. How can he shatter all the domains and barriers? That attack has to be more than 1 billion. At the same time, the iron chain was completely shattered. Half of the butcher's fat body was missing. His right arm, right chest, lower abdomen, and right thigh had a big hole in it. Organs could be seen in the bloody hole. With a clang, the wine glass in the saint's hand fell to the ground. She involuntarily stood up from her seat, her eyes filled with shock. He broke the domain barriers and the iron chain. How much damage did he do? 1 billion or 2 billion? This guy is actually so strong. Zhu Hua's eyes were filled with shock. Is he really a human? He insta-killed Butcher? This is too unbelievable. Shuang Ling was alone in the preparation area, staring at the screen in shock. She knew that Lu Chen was strong. After all, she had seen him shatter the strength testing stone with her own eyes. The upper limit of the strength testing stone was 100 million. So he had to shatter at least 300 to 400 million. But the shock of shattering the strength testing stone last time was completely different from this time. The combined effects of multiple domains and barriers rendered all the contestants powerless. However, Solipsistic had shattered all the rules and restrictions with a single move. Even the 400 million HP Hunter Butcher was instantly killed. All of a sudden, Shuang Ling understood. Why would Brother Kuang so leisurely close his eyes to rest during the competition? He might even have fallen asleep. Because he was really strong. Hunter. It turns out that Brother Kuang is the real hunter. He's waiting for his prey to take the bait. In the battlefield, an area of 100 meters had been cleared. The buildings here had all been cleared, leaving only Lu Chen and Butcher, who only had half of his body left. Lu Chen's 3 doppelgangers had returned to Lu Chen's body. If he didn't explain the difference, others might think that the 2 Azura doppelgangers were the same as ordinary doppelgangers. Butcher wasn't dead. Lu Chen's 3 punches had shattered the void, 1 punch had shattered the iron chains, and 1 punch had shattered the barrier. Only 1 punch had truly landed on Butcher's body. He had left Butcher with a single breath, but it was only a single breath. Butcher looked at his mutilated body in disbelief, then raised his head to look at Lu Chen. The fear in his eyes couldn't be concealed. Lu Chen shook his hand and raised his head to look at Butcher. "I see fear in your eyes." This sentence was simply Butcher's opening statement. However, at this moment, it was indeed Lu Chen who was saying this to Butcher. How did you do it? I don't believe it. I don't believe that I didn't even have a chance to retaliate." Lu Chen looked at Butcher with a smile that wasn't a smile. "You want to retaliate in front of me? What are you thinking? Do you know why I left you with a single breath?" Butcher stared at Lu Chen. Lu Chen smiled and walked toward Butcher step by step. "Don't you like to dismember others? Don't you like it when others beg for mercy? Since you like it so much, I'll let you have a taste too." Upon hearing Lu Chen's words, Butcher's face turned even paler. What do you want to do?" Lu Chen held the infinite demon god sword and smiled at Butcher. "Actually, if we're talking about cruelty, I'm crueler than you." With that, Lu Chen used triple door and arrived next to Butcher. He adjusted his attack ratio to the lowest. Even if Butcher didn't have much HP left, he could still hold on for a long time. "Don't worry. I'll dismember you one part at a time." "Oh right, you're more experienced. Which part should I dismember first? Do you have any suggestions?" Butcher's eyes were filled with fear. This fellow actually asked him which part he wanted to start with. Just how crazy was this? Even he didn't think of it. I'm a hunter. You can't kill me? There are no rules here." Lu Chen smiled. He raised his sword and cut off Butcher's left forearm. "Now the show begins." 2 minutes later, Lu Chen looked at Butcher on the ground and shook his head. He didn't really dismember Butcher into 8 pieces. He felt that it was a bit too cruel, and he couldn't do it. It seemed that not everyone could be a pervert. Lu Chen had killed countless people, but he had never dismembered a corpse like Butcher. However, Butcher didn't live up to expectations. Under the great fear and the damage to his body, he quickly lost all signs of life. His consciousness must have fainted. Since there was no way to scare him anymore, it didn't matter whether the corpse was dismembered or not. Lu Chen bestowed the Butcher with the gift of release, completely granting the Butcher freedom. This time, Lu Chen directly used physical damage. If nothing unexpected happened, Butcher should be dead in the real world. Standing up, Lu Chen shook his head. "You've killed countless people for fun. Why did you faint when it came to yourself? It seems that you're not much stronger than others." The person that Butcher had captured earlier was hiding far behind a house to observe the battle. Seeing Lu Chen insta-kill Butcher, that guy's jaw almost dropped. "Fuck, how can that human be so strong? Fortunately, I didn't fight him in the beginning. Otherwise, I'd be finished. Is this all he's got? That's too scary. Even hunters aren't his match. He actually scared Butcher to death. That's unbelievable." Lu Chen looked at that person from afar and didn't bother to pay attention to him. His gaze swept across the distance. Sighing, Lu Chen stretched and yawned. "I've rested for almost an hour. It's time to move around. What about the other defenders? You want me to find them?" Chapter 634. Lu Chen woke up, but the entire audience was silent. "Did you guys see that? Contestant 83 scared Butcher to death." What scared him to death? He wanted to dismember Butcher, but Butcher couldn't hold on and fainted first. Didn't you say it the other way around? It should be Butcher who dismembered the contestant. No, you didn't feel the violent shaking just now, right? The desolate god palace's domain was rearranged. The previous one was already destroyed by that guy. He deliberately left Butcher with his last breath. When he was about to dismember Butcher's corpse, Butcher died first. Everyone who heard this news felt their worldview collapse. This matter was too hard to understand. At the same time, in VIP Lounge 1, the Saintess was still in shock. Her subordinates whispered, "That guy is not only strong, but he's even more vicious than Butcher. Look at how gentle he is, he's really vicious." At this time, Zhu Yi whispered to the Saintess, Saintess, should we inform Piercer to avoid that contestant 83? The Saintess finally recovered and nodded. Let's remind them. That guy's strength is above Piercer's and he's vicious. He's not someone Piercer can deal with. Yes, Saintess. Hearing the conversation between her sister and the Saintess, Zhu Hua's brain short-circuited. Hunters had to avoid their prey. There was such a thing. It wasn't only the Saintess tribe that made this decision. The other factions also informed their hunters to avoid contestant 83. Piercer, pay attention to contestant 83. Avoid him. That guy is a homicidal maniac. He's currently looking for hunters to kill. Demon Tomb. Avoid number 83 as soon as you see him. A super expert has appeared and killed Butcher's physical body. He's still looking for more hunters. Deepa, don't touch contestant 83. That guy is very strong. That tremor just now was caused by him breaking the domain and killing Butcher. The news was passed to the hunters, and everyone was shocked. A contestant chasing after a hunter to kill him? What the hell was this? Of course, this was a matter of face. There were still many people watching their performance. Even if they received the news, they couldn't show it in front of so many people. As long as they paid attention to the map, they could easily avoid number 83. In short, the hunter had determined that he couldn't provoke contestant number 83. Lu Chen walked between the scattered houses. Just now, he had clearly heard the sound of fighting. Why was there no one here when he rushed over? Strange. Where is he? Right now there are still 48 participants. Although the Desolate God Palace is not small, it shouldn't be to the extent that we can't meet a single person, right? If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want to reveal too much of his strength in front of so many people, he would have opened his heaven's eye to look for those hunters. On the way, Lu Chen encountered several big bosses, but compared to the hunters, it was obvious that these bosses' IQ was too low. It was not too difficult to avoid them. There are still 45 people. Lu Chen was depressed. There were clearly so many people, but he hadn't met a single one. Suddenly, a loud sound came from not far away, and the ground shook. Lu Chen excitedly used his movement technique and rushed over. This time their luck was good. A female hunter had just killed a contestant. The halberd pierced through the contestant's body and threw him far away. His body was probably seriously injured. At this time, Lu Chen was standing opposite her, and he could see it clearly. The Saintess' heart was in her throat. Lu Chen had met none other than her tribe's halberd. What's going on? Didn't I tell her to stay away from contestant 83? Why is she still so careless? Saintess, halberd and devil tomb killed the same number of people. Halberd probably wanted to kill a few more people. Among the major forces, there was also competition. That was to see who could kill more hunters. There was even a bet between the major forces. It was just that this kind of thing wasn't made public, so others didn't know about it. As a result, in order to kill one more person, she encountered contestant 83. At this time, halberd looked at Lu Chen. Her luck was good. A stupid guy actually ran in front of her. But she immediately received a message from Pearl Flower. This person was contestant 83. Contestant 83? No wonder he dared to take the initiative to appear. He was here to kill her. At this time, what should she do? Fight. The Saintess had personally said not to touch that guy. The Saintess' vision would never be wrong. She shouldn't be this guy's opponent. Run. Running in front of so many people, wouldn't that be a loss of face for the Saintess tribe? At this time, halberd suddenly covered his eyes with one hand and shouted, "Ah! It hurts! This guy's blinding effect is so strong. After such a long time, I still can't recover my vision." Lu Chen was stunned. What was going on? The other party was blinded? Halberd took a few steps back. Leaning on the ground, she sighed. Forget it. Let's take a rest first. Wait for the blinding effect to disappear. Then we'll kill the other contestants. After that, halberd teleported and ran away. Lu Chen frowned. What was going on? It wasn't easy to catch a hunter, but that guy was blinded by a contestant? Blinding was blinding, but why did he run so fast? Lu Chen shook his head. After thinking about it, he decided not to chase. The Desolate God Palace had rearranged the restriction domain. It would be very troublesome for him to catch up with the other party. Lu Chen found several hunters, But these people either didn't see him, or they were blinded. Those who had no spiritual energy had to restore their spiritual energy, and those who were in a bad state wanted to restore their spiritual energy. In short, Lu Chen didn't have a chance to make a move. Lu Chen was also a sly person. He thought about it, and decided to take the method of waiting for the rabbit to appear, and hide in a house. Sure enough, not long after, a hunter flattened the house with a knife. There is no one here. What luck! Where did the rest of the contestants go? I must hurry up and kill a few more. The hunter stood 4 or 5 meters in front of Lu Chen, and left with a regretful face. Hey, I'm not a human. Are your eyes blind? I'm standing here and you can't see me? Lu Chen collapsed. That guy didn't wait for him to speak, and had already left. It's not that I want to say this, but with your eyes, you really don't deserve to be hunters. Didn't you say that you have the full map? You can't even see this. You're too weak. Lu Chen angrily complained. In the end, Lu Chen also gave up. With an hour left, he began to kill the bosses in the desolate God Palace. The bosses here didn't drop equipment, but they dropped leveling materials. This was Lu Chen's exclusive drop, and had not been cancelled. I can only level up. In the end, they will find me the most. However, Lu Chen killed all 30 bosses. No one came to disturb him. Congratulations to contestant number 83 for becoming the only survivor of the Trapped Beast Arena. A voice sounded in the desolate God Palace. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The 9 hunters stood together. Everyone had a tacit understanding. Everyone knew that it wasn't contestant number 83 who survived, but them. It's finally over. I've never participated in such a frightening Trapped Beast Arena in my life. Deepa wiped the sweat on his forehead. Yeah, we had to kill players and hide from that guy. It wasn't easy for us. Fortunately, there were some bosses for him to kill. He finally found something to do. Otherwise, what would we do if he really chased after us? Chapter 635. Lu Chen was called to the open space in the middle of the desolate God Palace. As usual, the host was going to interview the winner. At this time, the hunters were also standing opposite Lu Chen in a row, giving off a strong sense of oppression just like when they appeared. The host walked to Lu Chen's side and said, "First of all, congratulations to contestant number 83. With his extraordinary wisdom, strategy and strength, he survived from the hands of the 9 powerful hunters, and became the only surviving contestant." The hunters' faces were not looking good. What kind of wisdom did this guy have? What strategy did he have? He slept in the arena for an hour, and spent the rest of the time fighting bosses to level up. The host also avoided talking about the butcher's matter. 10 hunters had now become 9. Next, let's take a look at Mr. Solipsistic 83's bet. The host opened the betting panel and zoomed in. The amount of money bet on number 83 is still very large. 63% of the bets were eliminated within 10 minutes, and 99% of the bets were eliminated within an hour. There is also a spirit stone bet on number 83 winning the championship. Friend, you're really lucky. You earned 10,000 spiritual stones with just 1 spiritual stone. Is this friend here? If so, please come to the stage. Lu Chen shook his head. Don't look for it. This spirit stone is my bet. Don't waste time. Hurry up and give me the prize money. The host's heart skipped a beat. This demon seemed to be a little impatient. Although he looked gentle, the scene of him killing the butcher just now could not help but make people feel afraid of him. Even the hunters did not dare to look into this guy's eyes, and the host was even more so walking on thin ice. Oh, that's no problem. Then, congratulations to Mr. Solipsistic for winning the huge prize. Someone immediately brought up a box of spirit stones. In addition to the 10,000 spirit stones that Lu Chen won, a total of 30,000 spirit stones filled a box. The real thing was like cash, giving people an even greater shock. Wow, I'm really rich. 30,000 spirit stones. It's already comparable to the assets of a small force. With so many spirit stones, I won't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of my life. Lu Chen only casually glanced at the spirit stones, kept them in his backpack, and then turned to leave the desolate god palace. In the preparation area, Xuangling was the only one left. When she saw that Lu Chun had returned to the preparation area, Xuangling threw herself onto Lu Chun in tears. "Brother Kuang, you scared me to death." What's wrong?" Lu Chun asked softly. Xuangling's eyes were red and swollen as she looked around. At this moment, Lu Chun noticed that the ground of the preparation area was covered in blood. A few people were dragging a few corpses out of the area. Out of 100 people, he was the only one who survived, which meant that 99 people had been defeated. Among the defeated, many of them had died. The preparation area hadn't been cleaned up yet, and the blood on the ground had yet to dry, giving off the smell of blood. One could imagine how much pressure Xuangling must have felt when she saw the corpses being sent back one after another. Lu Chun smiled and patted Xuangling's head. "Silly girl, do you think I'm silly? If I didn't have confidence, I wouldn't have participated in this kind of competition. Do you want me to tell you the truth?" Lu Chun looked at Xuangling in surprise. "What truth? You're really silly. You're still sleeping during the competition. That time when someone attacked you, I was almost scared to death. And the butcher, you deliberately provoked him. I thought you were dead." Lu Chun smiled and shook his head. This girl didn't understand him, and she didn't understand Harry Ball either. "I wanted to defeat a few hunters, so that I could leave a deeper impression on the major forces. There are some things I'm looking for in the wildlands. If I can establish a relationship with the natives, it should be twice the result with half the effort. As for the butcher, I don't like that kind of bastard. This time, I'll let him have a taste of what it's like to kick a steel plate. Well, I'm back now, and we have money. Let's heal your injuries and go find the tomb of the god of sin." Xuangling looked at Lu Chun in astonishment. Silly? No, she now understood that Brother Kuang was smarter than anyone else. Lu Chun seemed to be careless during the competition, but in fact, he already had his own plans. He didn't put the ordinary contestants in his eyes. His goal had always been the hunters. When he came out of the preparation area, Lu Chun was stopped by two women. "Solipsistic, our saintess wants to see you." Xuangling froze for a moment. The saintess actually wanted to see Brother Kuang in person. Brother Kuang's plan was successful. She turned her head and saw Lu Chun smiling. "Okay, let's go. Only you can go. This woman stays," the person said with an inviolable tone. "This is my sister. I don't feel at ease leaving her here alone. If you don't let her go, then I won't see her." Lu Chun didn't budge an inch. "Don't think that just because you have some ability, you can go against the saintess." Lu Chun coldly snorted. His eyes revealed a trace of killing intent. "So you want to take her away by force?" Facing Lu Chun's gaze, Zhu Hua slightly narrowed her eyes. In a one-on-one fight, she wasn't this guy's opponent. But behind her was the Saintess tribe. In the wilderness, no one dared to be rude to the Saintess tribe. At this time she received a message. The message only had one sentence. "Agree to him." In the first VIP room, Lu Chun and Xuangling entered the hall under the guidance of Zhu Hua. The hall had a compartment. Outside the room, there were 20 to 30 guards wearing all kinds of equipment. Among them, there was also a hunter. "The Saintess is inside. She wants to see you alone." Lu Chun didn't let go of Xuangling's hand. He didn't feel at ease leaving Xuangling here alone. At this time, a sweet voice came from the inner room. "Our Saintess tribe has always been fair. With our strength, even if we are enemies, we will declare war in advance. Your sister's life, compared to the reputation of our Saintess tribe, which one do you think is more important?" Lu Chun slightly frowned. At this time, Xuangling gently pulled Lu Chun's sleeve. "Kuang Ge, the Aborigines are very honest. Not to mention, this is the Saintess tribe. Since they have guaranteed my safety, there won't be any problems. You can rest assured." Lu Chun nodded and entered the inner room. Opening the bead curtain, he saw a white figure with her back facing him. There was no one else around. Lu Chun was slightly surprised. This Saintess' courage was quite big. She actually dared to see him alone. Was she not afraid that he would kidnap her? "Solipsistic, didn't you say that you want me to pay more attention to you? Do you have a deal with me? Come here." Lu Chen walked to the opposite side of the saintess. Please sit down. The saintess stood up and personally poured a cup of tea for Lu Chen. As soon as he saw the tea, Lu Chen's mind thought of the plus 50 spiritual power. Without any hesitation, he drank it. However, the plus 50 spiritual power didn't appear. The saintess didn't see through Lu Chen's mental activity. She poured another cup for him, and then sat opposite to Lu Chen. Your performance has indeed attracted my attention. So, I want to ask you, what do you want from me? With that, the saintess lifted her jade finger and took off her veil. Chapter 636. Lu Chen was a little excited. The saintess was going to take off her veil in front of him. From those eyes, that pleasant voice, and that enchanting body, even if her facial features were slightly lacking, the saintess was definitely a beauty among beauties. After taking off her veil, Lu Chen was shocked by the saintess' delicate facial features. A pair of clear eyes, a high nose bridge, fresh and tender lips, and a slightly angular jaw. Although her facial features looked perfect, why did it feel a little weird? The saintess looked at Lu Chen's stunned expression and did not mind. She smiled and said, "Do you feel weird looking at my face?" Lu Chen spat out the tea in his mouth. The saintess' voice was low and magnetic. A man. The saintess was a man. He was an extremely beautiful man. Even though Lu Chen was a resourceful person, when he saw the saintess, his mind was still in a mess. The saintess smiled. Her movements were still elegant, as she poured Lu Chen another cup of tea. Don't be surprised. Our saintess tribe has been passed down for many years. Other than the previous saintesses who were real women, almost all the descendants are like me. Why? Lu Chen asked. The origami are men. Usually, men can better inherit the origami's ability. When the origami fell, there were still many men in our tribe who inherited the origami's ability. However, as time passed, those men died or left the saintess tribe. This kind of inheritance is getting harder and harder. So, in order to preserve the origami's bloodline as much as possible, the saintess became a man like me. This way, she can better inherit the origami's ability. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. He did not expect the saintess tribe to have such a secret history. The origami's ability can only be inherited by men? Yes. Lu Chen nodded. Well, this was someone else's family matter. It had nothing to do with him. You don't have to tell me this, right? Lu Chen frowned slightly. People say that the more you know, the faster you die. You're burdening me by telling me so much. The saintess smiled. Our saintess tribe has always been honest when dealing with others. Of course, we rarely deal with outsiders like you. That's why you're so shocked. If you feel uncomfortable talking to you like this, I can put on a veil. Lu Chen shook his head. It's okay. I don't mind. The saintess smiled. Alright, can you tell me what you want from me now? Fiend God Lotus Heart Fragment. The saint's eyes widened. This fellow was truly honest. A fragment of the demonic lotus heart. Do you know what that is? Lu Chen nodded. I know. That's why I want to find it. Then do you know that the fragments are distributed among the various factions? It's impossible to gather all of them. Moreover, even if you can recover the Fiend God Lotus Heart, the equipment's effect will be very ordinary. Lu Chen obviously knew that the Fiend God Lotus Heart's true power could only be unleashed with the Fiend God Mixed cultivation technique. Others didn't have the cultivation technique, but he did. Unfortunately, Lu Chen couldn't be honest with the saintess about this topic. How do you know the effects of the Fiend God Lotus Heart? I also obtained some information from ancient books. All in all, the treatment that this equipment enjoys is actually far beyond its own ability. Perhaps its existence is more of a symbolic meaning. It's also because of this that some fragments are scattered all over the place. Lu Chen finally understood this point. If everyone knew how powerful the Fiend God Lotus Heart was, they would definitely treat it as a treasure. The various factions wouldn't lose their own fragments. It was precisely because people didn't know the true power of the Fiend God Lotus Heart that people would secretly trade it or simply lose it. You don't have to worry about that. I just want to know if you have any fragments of the Fiend God Lotus Heart. Lu Chen asked. No, but I know where the savage land is. The holy maiden smiled faintly. What's the price? Lu Chen went straight to the point. 20,000 spiritual stones. Also, I need you to do something for me. 20,000 spiritual stones is fine. What do you need me to do? Lu Chen looked at the saintess. Break the curse of the savage land. Lu Chen frowned and waited for the saintess to continue. The natives of the savage land are very strong. You should have heard of that. However, we can only live here for generations. The people outside can come in and out, but we can't. We can't leave the savage land at all. This is a formation that the desolate god left behind to protect his descendants. This protection, after thousands of years, became a kind of restriction. We can't leave the savage land, and can't enter the higher heavens. Lu Chen frowned. Shuangling once said that the natives were very strong, but they never challenged the heaven-reaching tower. So this was the real reason. Why don't you break the curse yourselves? Only outsiders can do it. Firstly, we are not allowed to do so in name. We are suspected of disobeying our ancestors. Secondly, we can't do it. The curse is hidden in our blood. As long as we are natives, we more or less have the desolate god's blood. The stronger we are, the purer our blood. In front of the desolate god's curse, we are powerless. Lu Chen frowned. That's not right. I help you break the curse, and you tell me the location of the fiend god Lotus Heart? And you're charging me an extra 20,000 spiritual stones. That's too much. Ha 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 ha, solipsistic, you just said the fiend god Lotus Heart fragment. You didn't say you only wanted information. Lu Chen was stunned. The saintess meant that if he could help them break the curse, the saintess tribe would help him get the fiend god Lotus Heart. Solipsistic. I have already told you the effect of the fiend god Lotus Heart, and you still want to find it. This means that it is very important to you. So, I believe that you won't refuse my offer. I refuse, Lu Chen said directly. I can find it myself. You can't find it. Only we can enter that place. Is it related to the desolate god's blood? Lu Chen asked. That's right. Even if people from the higher heavens come down, they can't enter that place. This time, it was Lu Chen's turn to be silent. If what the saintess said was true, Lu Chen knew that he wouldn't be able to get the fragment in a short period of time. The curse and the fragment were things that both of them wanted, but it just so happened that only the other party could get it. It seemed that it would be difficult for this deal to not go through. Lu Chen took a step back. I won't waste any more time. If I can't get the fiend god Lotus Heart, it's only my problem. But the curse is related to your entire tribe, and the fate of all the natives. These two things aren't even on the same level. How about this? Save the 20,000 spiritual stones. Give me an extra 5 million spiritual stones. Also, you need to provide me with all the materials, time, and information. Okay. The saintess smiled with satisfaction. Lu Chen almost spat out a mouthful of blood. The seller agreed so quickly. It usually meant that the price wasn't cut well. He thought that this condition was already very excessive. But he was still cheated. What a profiteer. Chapter 637. The saintess was very satisfied with the result of the deal. She smiled and said, although it's still too early for you to break the curse with your current strength, since you've agreed, then this deal is done. You say that I'm not strong enough? Then why are you talking to me about this condition so early? The saintess stood up and walked to the side, looking out the window. You have to make money when doing business. You can't wait for everyone to see that this is a profitable business. I'm taking advantage of the fact that you're not familiar with the wildlands, and you're not that strong. The price now is the lowest. Once you've grown, you'll definitely not agree to 5 million. Lu Chen shook his head. When it came to doing business, he was indeed not an expert. However, he was also a person who understood everything. If I die, then naturally, you won't lose anything. So your business is definitely profitable. That's right. The saintess tribe was indeed honest. She did not even hide her thoughts. However, Lu Chen just smiled. Actually, even if you don't give me the money, as long as you tell me the location of the demonic Lotus Heart, I might not necessarily not agree to your conditions. The saintess smiled. Money will come back after it's gone. What you're after is the pinnacle of strength. Lu Chen smiled and did not say anything. It was a tacit agreement. In real life, Lu Chen was already a billionaire. Moreover, he was different from other billionaires. No one could replace his position. He was under the protection of the global authorities. Even if he left the Jyotian now, the money would not be used up in a few lifetimes. In the game, earning money had never been difficult for him. The saintess felt that she had made a profit by using 5 million to settle this matter. However, she did not know that Lu Chen did not care about this at all. He was more interested in seeing this so-called origami bloodline curse. Interesting. The saintess smiled. The more you act like this, the more I look forward to your performance. Solipsistic catch. After saying that, the saintess threw a token over. The token had the words Saintess Tribe written on it. Show me this token. If you need anything else, you can directly exchange it with the Holy Maiden Tribe's trading officer. We have trading officers in every town. You can ask around, and you'll find them. Other than that, no one in the wildlands will dare to provoke you. But you also have to remember that the most terrible thing in the barren land is not people. When you feel that you can defeat a stage 4 domain boss, come find me at the Saintess Tribe. I will tell you about the curse in detail and complete our final deal. Also, don't tell anyone about my identity. Otherwise, I'll kill you with my own hands. After the saintess finished speaking, she turned her back to Lu Chen and gently put on her veil. Her pleasant female voice returned. You can leave now. Lu Chen stood up, looked at the token in his hand, and then left the saintess's room. After traveling for 2 hours, Lu Chen and Shuang Ling returned to their residence. With the money, Lu Chen first booked 2 heavenly rooms. The next day, the two of them went to the town to find the trading officer arranged by the Holy Maiden Tribe, and bought a large number of medicinal herbs. After giving these medicinal herbs to Little Green, the only thing left was to wait. On the same day, Little Green refined a batch of medicinal pills to help Shuang Ling recover. Shuang Ling was cultivating in the room when Little Green returned to Lu Chen's room. Boss, when I went with you to pick medicinal herbs, I noticed something. What's the matter? Lu Chen asked. The Saintess Tribe doesn't seem to have many high-level alchemists, so the medicinal herbs they sell are much cheaper than the finished pills. The same is true for the purchase price. The medicinal herbs are cheap, and the pills are much more expensive. In other words, we can buy their medicinal herbs and sell them after I refine them into pills. Lu Chen's eyes widened. Use their medicinal herbs to refine pills and sell them? Hiss. Are you sure you won't lose money? If it were other alchemists, I wouldn't dare to guarantee it. But I am confident that I won't lose money, and can even make a little bit of spirit stones. It doesn't matter if you can't make money. The key is that your alchemy skills have improved. Yes, I've taken a look. The 3 skills of medicine and poison can all be upgraded in this way. However, I need a startup fund to buy the medicinal herbs at the beginning. Lu Chen naturally trusted Little Green. Lu Chen immediately gave the Saintess token to Little Green and gave her 20,000 spirit stones. I don't need so much. Just give me 5,000. It's okay. I don't usually use spirit stones. With this token, you should be safe here, and can also buy medicinal herbs yourself. Okay, then when Miss Shuang Ling recovers, I will start. Lu Chen smiled slightly. He didn't expect Little Green to find this loophole. During the few days when Shuang Ling was healing, Lu Chen began to learn about the Divine Tomb Secret Realm from Shuang Ling. The entrance to the Divine Tomb Secret Realm will open in 20 days, and the entrance will be open for 3 days. After 3 days, the entrance will be closed whether you come out or not. Lu Chen nodded. 3 days should be more than enough to explore a secret realm. However, Shuang Ling still added, Brother Kuang, in fact, I guess that if I can find the information, it means that others can also find it. Maybe this time, the Divine Tomb Secret Realm is open, and there are more than the 2 of us. It doesn't matter. Secret realms are like this. Everyone can enter, but it depends on who has the ability to get the things. Have a good rest, and we will set off in a few days. 5 days later, Shuang Ling's physical injuries had healed. In order to ensure Little Green's safety, Lu Chen left Little Green with Little Furball. With Little Furball's protection, the Saintess tribe token, and the protection of the inn, Little Green was almost safe. After the arrangements were made, Lu Chen and Shuangling set off. According to the information Shuangling had, the location of the Divine Tomb Secret Realm was in the uninhabited wilderness. The conditions in the wilderness were particularly harsh. Along the way, there were countless cliffs, swamps, and torrents. The journey was long, and it might take 2 to 3 months on foot. They had to ride a mount. Shuangling's mount was a 30 to 40 meter long carp with feathered wings. After the fish rose, the surrounding water vapor turned into ice crystals. At first glance, it looked as if it was shrouded in a layer of ice. Shuangling, what kind of mount is yours? I don't think I've seen it before. Shuangling smiled slightly. Brother Kuang, my mount is very rare. It's an orange mount called the luo fish. It has the body of a fish and the wings of a bird. Its voice is like a mandarin duck. Lu Chen nodded. It looks good. Brother Kuang, what's your mount? Lu Chen thought for a moment and summoned Nine-Winged. A giant dragon hovered in the air, its eyes wide open as it glared at the luo fish not far away. Shuangling screamed, Aya Xiaogua, what are you doing? In front of Nine-Winged, the luo fish was forced to land. Lu Chen was also a little embarrassed. Nine-Winged really had a bad temper. He didn't even let his friend use his mount. Nine-Winged were on the same side. Don't bully Shuangling, Lu Chen glared at Nine-Winged. Nine-Winged felt wronged. It wasn't his fault that others were afraid of him. There was no other way. The luo fish didn't dare to fly. Lu Chen could only pull Shuangling to sit on the dragon's head and fly to their destination. Brother Kuang, where did you get this 9-winged celestial dragon? Oh, I synthesized it in the pet dungeon at level 1. Level 1. 9-winged is considered a top mount in level 4. Shuangling's eyes widened. Lu Chen thought of the first time he escaped from the demon fortress. At that time, there were 4 or 5 mounts that didn't need to be forced to land. It seemed that 9-winged needed to improve his strength. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to keep his position as the strongest mount. 10 days later, the two arrived in the sky above a forest. At this time, there were still 5 days before the Divine Tomb Secret Realm opened. But many people had already gathered in this area. What shocked Lu Chen was that there were about 400 to 500 people here, and there were more than 100 mounts. None of them were lower in quality than 9-winged. Without a doubt, those who could have mounts of this level were all super powerhouses. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. It seemed that this trip to the Divine Tomb might not be easy. Chapter 638. The underground area was a rocky area. Everyone was hovering above the area. On one hand, they were inspecting the underground area. On the other hand, they were guarding against others. The people here were very clear that even if this was not the savage land, they could not rule out the possibility of someone eradicating their competitors in advance. The Divine Tomb Secret Realm was many levels higher than the U.S. Secret Realm. The treasures inside were definitely worth fighting for. There are still 5 days before it opens, and there are already so many people. Lu Chen secretly observed these people. In the distance he saw a few familiar people. Saintess tribe, Kazan tribe. They're here too. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. Brother Kuang, once the secret realm opens, everyone will rush in immediately. After entering the secret realm, many people will immediately set up traps at the entrance to obstruct the people behind. So it's important to come here in advance to seize the advantageous terrain. Lu Chen could also imagine this situation. The competition now was not as simple as before. It was a matter of life and death. It was normal to use all kinds of methods. Where's the entrance? I don't know. The news I received is that the Divine Tomb Secret Realm opened for the first time recently. That means there's no experience to be used. Everyone is at the same starting line. Lu Chen noticed that many others were hovering at a low altitude. They must be occupying a good position to be the first to rush in when the secret realm opens. They also sent many people to investigate the ground. These people used various tools and treasures to try to find out the location of the entrance in advance. Lu Chen immediately let 9 wings fly high. There was no one in the sky, so it was better to avoid being sneak attacked. Heaven's Eye. Lu Chen suddenly opened the Heaven's Eye on his forehead. Shuangling, pay attention to the surroundings. I'll see if I can find some clues. Shuangling was already used to it. Solipsistic had too many tricks up his sleeves. Until now, he could still take out things that she had never seen before. Now was not the time to ask questions. Shuangling agreed, and became vigilant of the surroundings. After opening the Heaven's Eye, the world in Lu Chen's eyes became different from what he saw with the naked eye. The flow of spirit qi on the ground was very strange. In addition to the spirit qi emitted by the plants on the ground, there was also a large amount of spirit qi gushing out from the ground. The amount was far greater than normal. The tomb of the god of sin is right here. But where is the entrance? Wait a minute. There seems to be a pattern to the dispersing spiritual energy. 9 wings fly higher. On top of the flying white tiger, Zhu Hua came to report. Saintess, Solipsistic, and the others have also come. They seem to know that they are not strong enough, so they are flying higher and higher. It seems that they are afraid of being attacked. The holy maiden's clear and resplendent eyes look towards the horizon. They're here too. He actually knows that the tomb of the gods is open. I reckon they also want a share of the loot. They're right there. That brat actually has a 9-winged heavenly dragon. The subordinate pointed to the sky. The holy maiden looked into the distance, and saw Lu Chen and the others. Interesting. His strength isn't ranked at the top here. Let's focus on the teams of experts. Oh right, tell Halbert and the others to expand their search area. They must find the entrance. The first to grab the entrance will have a better chance of winning. Yes, Saintess. Many teams saw Lu Chen's 9-winged heavenly dragon. Although his mount couldn't be said to be of higher quality than the others, it was still the most eye-catching one. TCH, do you see that 9-winged heavenly dragon over there? Look at how scared he is. He's just flying high up in the sky. If he's so scared of us, why didn't he come here to fight for the treasure? He's flying so high. If the secret realm opens, he'll definitely be the last to enter. Lu Chen didn't know that so many people were talking about him. He was currently carefully observing the direction of the spiritual energy. Only by standing high could he see more clearly. The spiritual energy overflow in the entire area is uniform. I can't see where it's especially abundant. That means it's not the entrance. Lu Chen frowned. After a moment of observation, Lu Chen discovered that the spiritual energy was rising upwards, and then being blown towards the southeast by the northwest wind. Everything had spiritual energy, and spiritual energy was almost weightless. It was similar to air. When the wind blew, it would naturally fly in the direction of the wind. After searching for a long time, Lu Chen still couldn't find anything unusual. Brother Kuang, what are you looking at? I'm analyzing the direction of the spiritual energy. Those guys on the ground should be using the same method to try to find the possible entrance to the secret realm in advance. You can even see the spiritual energy. The wind here is so strong. Shuangling's hair was blown into a mess. Lu Chen glanced at Shuangling's appearance and smiled. Although her hair was messy, it had a different style. In the next few days, dozens of teams arrived. Lu Chen noticed that some people's mounts landed far away. Those people took a look at the situation here, and turned around to leave. It turned out that not everyone who came was strong, but those who stayed were strong. In these 2 days, Lu Chen still didn't stop trying to find the entrance, but he didn't find anything. Brother Kuang, should we go down? I feel that the wind here is getting stronger and stronger these 2 days. Shuangling's hair and clothes didn't stop for a moment. What she was doing now was to constantly tidy up her hair. In the end, she directly froze her hair. I'm so angry. Lu Chen looked at Shuangling's angry look, and felt that it was very cute. However, that night, Shuangling suddenly pulled Lu Chen's sleeve. Brother Kuang. The ice on my hair has been removed. Shuangling was shocked. Has the ice melted? My ice won't melt. The surrounding water vapor will constantly replenish the frozen state. Something is absorbing the spiritual energy in my ice magic. Lu Chen frowned. Brother Kuang, If I'm not wrong, we should be looking for the entrance in the wrong direction, Shuangling whispered. At first, we all felt that the tomb of the god of sin must contain a lot of spiritual energy. When looking for the entrance, we would naturally look for the place where the spiritual energy overflows. That's where the entrance is. But there might be something in the tomb of the god of sin that has been absorbing spiritual energy. The wind here might be formed in this way. Lu Chen's eyes widened. Shuangling's words made sense. Brother Kuang, let 9 wings fly higher and see where the wind is the strongest. Then, use your heaven's eye to observe. By the way, don't rise too quickly, or it will attract the attention of others. Lu Chen nodded and let 9 wings quietly climb up. Fortunately, no one paid attention to their 2-man team. They thought that there were too many people, and they were afraid of trouble, and went higher. At an altitude of 4,000 meters, the wind speed was the strongest. 9 wings had to spread his 9 pairs of wings to maintain balance. Lu Chen immediately let 9 wings fly at the same altitude. Lu Chen quickly opened his heaven's eye. A large amount of spiritual energy was moving in one direction, and then quickly disappeared. The entrance. Lu Chen's eyes widened. Shuangling, I really underestimated you. You found the entrance. Chapter 639. The area where spiritual energy was constantly pouring and was most likely the entrance to the tomb of the god of sin. However, in order to prevent others from noticing the abnormality, Lu Chen quickly returned to a height of 2,000 meters and pretended to wait for the tomb of the god of sin to open. Late that night, many people in the surrounding teams were already resting, but there were still many people on night duty. Lu Chen whispered to Shuangling, Shuang Wu, can your ice-type spell seal the entrance? Yes, but there are too many experts here. If it's an ordinary spell, it might be shattered very quickly. Unless we have time to set up the ice mirror illusion array and combine it with the mirror illusion, it will take them at least half an hour to break the array. Lu Chen nodded. Shuangling's ice-type spell seemed quite powerful. How long will it take to set up the ice mirror illusion array? 30 to 40 minutes. Lu Chen frowned. Even if the others did not find the entrance immediately, once the entrance opened, those guys would quickly enter the tomb of the god of sin within a few minutes. Since it's too late to set up the array inside the tomb of the god of sin, we'll set it up outside the entrance. Lu Chen suddenly said. We've already determined the location of the entrance in advance. If we set up the array near the entrance, we can still delay them from entering the tomb of the god of sin. Set up the array near the entrance first. When the entrance opens tomorrow, inject spiritual energy, and let the array take effect. But Brother Kuang, if we set up the array now, others will see it. I'll take you there. Xiao Min, attach yourself to Shuangling and make her invisible. A little ghost jumped onto Shuangling. Brother Kuang, you have a ghost pet? Lu Chen smiled slightly, then saw Shuangling disappear in front of him, and nodded in satisfaction. Then, he changed into the black outfit Demon King descends that the Balrog gave him. At the same time, he left a clone on 9-winged and deliberately stood in a conspicuous position. Lu Chen said, Shuangling, I'll take you to set up the array. Brother Kuang, if 9-wing stays here, how are we going to go up? I'll carry you there. Lu Chen said and hugged Shuangling's waist with one hand. Brother Kuang, where are you hugging? Lu Chen was speechless. Now that Shuangling was invisible, he wouldn't be able to see it without using his celestial vision. Just now, he had been careless and misjudged the position, causing his hand to drop a little. Your legs are a bit long, sorry. After adjusting his position, Lu Chen spread his wings and soared into the sky. Combat flight. This skill was obtained from the 4 treasure chests in the suboriginator's lair. Lu Chen had never used it before, but now, he finally had a chance to use it. Taking advantage of the night, the two of them quickly shot toward the entrance. The closer they got to the entrance, the stronger the wind became. Lu Chen had no choice but to hug Shuangling with both hands. At an altitude of 4,500 meters, it was currently night time. The people below could no longer see such a distance. Shuang Ling, start setting up the formation. Brother Kuang, the wind is so strong. You hold me tight. Don't worry, I won't let you fall. Lu Chen hugged Shuang Ling tightly. 1.5 hours later, Lu Chen and Shuang Ling returned to Nine Wings. The two of them observed the surroundings and didn't seem to find anything unusual. They just had to wait for the mystery land to open tomorrow. At dawn the next day, no one was resting. All the people searching for the entrance on the ground were recalled. All the teams preparing to enter the tomb of the god of sin were fully alert and ready for battle. Brace yourselves. The mystery land will open before 8 o'clock in the morning, but no one knows the exact time. Once the entrance is discovered, it's likely that all the teams will rush to the entrance. At that time, a fierce battle will be inevitable. Understood, Captain. Check your equipment status and elixirs. Always pay attention to the location of the entrance. Anyone who discovers the entrance doesn't need to report to me. You can command your mount to charge. Yes, Captain. Our Kazan tribe must win the treasure hunt in the tomb of the god of sin. Are the array-breaking team and the array-setting team ready? Not only do we have to break the traps left by the people in front of us, but we also have to make more trouble for the people behind us. Hero, we are all ready. An unusually tense atmosphere filled the air. At the same time, Lu Chen had his 9-winged tiger slowly climb up. After 10 minutes, it had flown up 200 to 300 meters. Look at those two humans. They're really going all out. They're retreating further and further away. What can those two do? It's already good enough that they can come out alive. Don't worry about them. Pay attention to the surroundings. The entrance may open at any time. At 7:17 in the morning, there was a sudden gust of wind. Everyone became nervous. This was a sign that the entrance was about to open. The entrance would appear soon. A moment later, the earth shook. Countless air currents rushed into the sky. Even the trees on the ground were uprooted and rushed into the sky. Everyone could feel a strong suction force from above. The Holy Maiden widened her eyes and looked up. At this moment, a giant dragon was rushing toward the center of the vortex. Solipsistic. Oh no, the entrance is in the sky. Flying tiger, go after it. The Holy Maiden was the first to react. The flying tiger flapped its wings and rushed into the sky. This guy, he already knew that the entrance was nearby. The Holy Maiden gritted her teeth. She had underestimated the solipsistic. The Holy Maiden tribe had already rushed out. The other teams also reacted and chased after them. We'll be in trouble if we overtake the Holy Maiden tribe and let them be the first to enter the secret realm. Take them down. The people present were not afraid of the Holy Maiden tribe. Moreover, it was such a critical moment. Several skills were thrown at the flying tiger. The Holy Maiden frowned. She was not the first. Why were the people behind her attacking them? What was the point of attacking second if they did not attack first? Of course, the others did not think so. The first position was too far away. Moreover, the Holy Maiden tribe was powerful. If they were allowed to enter the secret realm first and set up a powerful formation, it would not be good news. Holy Shield. The Holy Maiden raised one hand and set up a light shield behind the flying tiger, blocking the attack. Desolate Heaven Palm, soft fingers. The Holy Maiden used a skill. Her fingers turned into giant vines and pounced on the team behind her. The opponent clearly had a strong person who resolved the Holy Maiden's attack. Before they even entered the entrance, they had already started fighting. The Holy Maiden tribe was not the only one fighting. There were more than 100 teams behind them. It was like 1,000 sails racing against each other. They chased each other and kept exchanging skills. Lu Chen looked at the scene behind him and could not help but be shocked. Fortunately, he had found the entrance in advance. If he was mixed with these guys, it would not be easy to take first place in such a chaotic battle. Not far ahead was the entrance to the black hole. Shuang Ling, the moment we enter, activate the formation. Lu Chen opened his eyes wide. When the dragon head entered the black hole, Shuang Ling shouted, "Ice mirror illusion activate." Chapter 640. The saintly virgin tribe had been slowed down by the others. 4 minutes later, 4 or 5 teams rushed into the ice mirror illusion array. The entrance could no longer be seen, and the surroundings were frozen. Many shadows were reflected on the smooth ice walls. The road was unclear, and many teams suddenly appeared around them. The experts naturally knew that they had rushed into someone else's illusion array. Damn it, that guy actually set up an array outside the entrance. He had already found the entrance. I was careless. I thought he knew he was weak, and avoided the competition. Who knew that this guy was so insidious and had been acting all along? Not good. This array seems to be difficult to crack. As more and more people rushed into the illusion array, more and more reflections appeared in the array, making it harder to distinguish between the real and the fake. The saintly virgin was also angered by Lu Chen. It would take at least an hour to break this formation, especially when there were so many enemies around. Solipsistic, you're really ruthless. You don't give us any face at all. In this secret realm, you actually set up such a complicated array. You want to monopolize the treasures in the tomb of the god of sin. The saintly virgin suddenly said loudly, "Everyone, please stop fighting. Now that we are all trapped in the illusion array, it's already very difficult to break it. If we continue to kill each other, I don't know how long it will take to get out. By then, I'm afraid that guy will have already looted the tomb of the god of sin." Everyone stopped as well. Let's break the array first. We haven't even entered the tomb of the god of sin. So what if we win? Okay, let's stop first. Whoever attacks again is a coward. Let's split up and find the array core. Everyone hurry up. Lu Chen didn't expect that their illusion array would make these mortal enemies friends for a short time. Lu Chen and Shuang Ling rushed into the tomb of the god of sin. Brother Kuang, do we still need to set up an ice mirror illusion array at the entrance? Lu Chen shook his head. No need. If they can break the ice mirror illusion array, you can set up another one and break it quickly. This group of people is full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. A small array can only delay them slightly. The effect is not obvious. Since we can't completely stop them, let's hurry up and explore this place. Shuang Ling thought for a moment and sprinkled a piece of ice at the entrance. Brother Kuang, if someone comes in, I will sense it. Lu Chen nodded. Naturally, it would be best if he could obtain information about his opponent. Lu Chen originally thought that since the entrance was in the air, then the mystic realm was also an aerial mystic realm. However, after entering the mystic realm, he discovered that the divine tomb not far in front of him was actually an underground palace. Heaven's Eye. After activating his third eye, Lu Chen discovered that a large amount of spiritual qi was pouring into the pitch-black entrance of the underground palace. Something is absorbing spiritual energy. After so many years, I don't know what it has become. Shuang Ling, be careful. Shuang Ling took a deep breath. Ice armor. Lu Chen and Shuang Ling were instantly covered with a layer of ice armor. Brother Kuang, the ice armor can resist most physical attacks, and is immune to water, wood, and dark elemental attacks. However, you have to be careful when you encounter other attacks. Lu Chen finally realized that Shuang Ling was truly a powerful support magician. Now is not the time to praise Shuang Ling. The two of them carefully walked towards the entrance of the underground palace. In front of the underground palace stood a stone tablet. Tomb of the Divine King. Robbers must die. This was a warning to tomb robbers. Many tombs had it, but it was obviously not a deterrent. As they entered the underground palace, many torches lit up in the divine tomb, illuminating the entire underground palace. As soon as they entered, Lu Chen and the others were faced with 3 paths. Lu Chen did not know which one to take. Shuang Ling released 3 fluorescent insects, which flew towards the 3 paths. Shuang Ling, what are those? Lu Chen asked. Brother Kuang, these are frost worms raised by the Frost clan. They are considered a type of elemental spirit. Your heavens, I can't see through things or turn around. Let them scout for us. Let's wait for a while. They will be back soon. Soon, 2 frost worms flew back. Shuang Ling released them again. Brother Kuang, 2 of the paths lead to dead ends. Let's take the last one. Although dead ends might not necessarily have nothing, the best things must be in the deepest part of the divine tomb. Lu Chen opened his heaven's eye at the same time. Sure enough, the spirit energy was moving towards the path Shuangling had eliminated. I think the last treasure is guarded by something terrifying. Lu Chen took a deep breath. Let's go. After walking for a short distance, Lu Chen found that the 3 frost worms had stopped and were unwilling to fly forward. There's a trap, Shuangling immediately said. Let me try. Shuangling raised her hands and erected an ice wall in front of the corridor. Suddenly, countless fine silver needles shot out from the surrounding walls. The needles were very thin. In Lu Chen's heaven's eye, they looked like thin lines. There were so many of them that they were densely packed. No wonder the frost worms were unwilling to go over. Even though their bodies were small, there was no way they could safely pass through such a dense attack. Shuangling sensed and said, "It's a physical attack from 200 meters away. The frost armor can block it. Brother Kuang, let's hurry over." Shuangling put away the frost worms and took the lead to step into the range of the trap. Lu Chen followed closely behind. The silver needles covered the sky and covered the earth. The frost armor was hit, and icicles flew everywhere. At this intensity, even the frost armor couldn't withstand it. However, Lu Chen noticed that the icicles that flew out of the frost armor were quickly absorbed back into the frost armor to fill in the gaps. So it's relying on spirit energy to control and continuously reconstruct the frost armor. That's why it can block these silver needles. If I didn't have such a high physical defense shield like the frost armor, if I wanted to pass through here, only seamless displacement would be effective. After safely passing through the first trap, Shuangling released the frost worms again. The frost worms quickly sent back news that there was a fork in the road ahead. At the end of the fork in the road, there was a coffin. A coffin? Lu Chen frowned slightly. Let's take a look. When he arrived in front of the coffin with the ice worm, Lu Chen was shocked. This place was too big. This coffin was still considered normal. It was about 3 meters long and 1 meter wide. It was slightly bigger than an ordinary human coffin. However, the ground under the coffin had strange runes drawn on it. The rune array was circular, and the radius of the rune array was 100 meters. In the 8 directions of the rune array, there were 8 dried corpses. Bai Zhe, 9-tailed Dijiang, the mutated beast Ba, the mutated beast Ho, the mutated beast Tengu, the mutated beast Bai Fong, and the dried corpse of the mutated beast Shengyu. This the corpse of a divine beast. In other words, these dried corpses are the true bodies of the divine beasts. Shuangling was so shocked that she couldn't speak. Lu Chen nodded. Remnant souls wouldn't become dried corpses. In the game, players' bodies wouldn't become dried corpses either. Only the real body could become like this. The owner of the tomb of the god of sin is really extravagant. He used these mutated beasts as dried corpses to guard the coffin. No, what's in this coffin isn't the corpse of the owner of the tomb of the god of sin. Maybe it's just his subordinates. That's already so extravagant. Shuangling stepped back. I'll go see what's in the coffin. Big brother Kuang, be careful. This seems to be the 8-beast coffin guard. Lu Chen nodded and carefully walked to the coffin in the center of the rune array. Chapter 641. This coffin was clearly unusual. Lu Chen activated the blood sacrifice shield, took out Limitless Sword, inserted it into the gap of the coffin, and pried open the coffin lid. The moment the coffin lid was lifted, a large amount of black mist poured out from the coffin. Lu Chen quickly retreated. Shuangling reacted quickly and pushed out her palms. Ice prison. The coffin was instantly sealed in ice. However, the black mist continued to pour out, filling the entire ice shield until the entire ice prison was filled with black mist. Big brother Kuang, what is that black mist? Shuangling hurried over. Lu Chen frowned. I don't know either, but it doesn't seem like it's attacking me. Shuangling, can you open a hole in the ice prison? I want to see where the black mist is going. Shuangling nodded, took out her longsword, and tapped on the ice prison. A small hole as thin as a needle appeared in the prison. The black mist had a way out and quickly poured out of the hole. Lu Chen's guess was correct. The black mist didn't go after Lu Chen and Shuangling. Instead, it rushed into the depths of the tunnel. Let's take a look at the ice prison. Shuang Wu removed the ice prison, and a large amount of black mist poured out, all of it rushing into the depths of the tunnel. Not long after, there was no more black mist in the coffin. Lu Chen pried open the lid of the coffin. A corpse lay in the coffin. Its clothes were tattered, and its bones were incomplete. It was impossible to tell what race it was when it was alive. In front of its chest, there was a strange metal block. Lu Chen picked it up. The system gave him the item's information. Bone core immortal grade. Extremely rare core material for synthesis. Immortal grade synthesis material? Lu Chen had never seen it before. With the treasure in hand, Lu Chen and Shuang Ling looked at each other and smiled. They didn't even need to fight. They got off to a good start. Their luck was pretty good. When Lu Chen put away the bone core, the 8 beast corpses around them suddenly fell limp, as if someone had extracted their bones. We've only just entered the divine tomb, and we can already get an immortal grade synthesis material. Shuang Ling, we have to speed up. Yes. Rhubarb, you come out too. Follow behind the frost worms. Lu Chen summoned Rhubarb. At first, he was worried that there would be too many traps in the tomb of the god of sin. Now that he had confirmed the abilities of the frost worm, Lu Chen could also release Rhubarb. Big brother Kuang, is this also your battle pet? Shuang Ling asked curiously. No, Rhubarb doesn't know how to fight. But when it comes to treasure hunting, Rhubarb is definitely the best. Big Yellow was definitely the king of treasure hunting, as it was able to get out of the whirlpool just by finding treasure chests. With a flick of frost silk, Rhubarb was also equipped with frost armor. The two of them continued to explore the tomb of the god of sin. They found dozens of coffins, as well as some immortal-grade synthesis materials, forging materials, and puppet core materials. Those materials were all extremely rare. Although Lu Chen didn't pay much attention to materials, Lu Chen had seen too many of them in the Empyrean Sect's store, the market held during the League of Legends, the exchange store in the Mercenary City, and even the items sold in the Holy Virgin tribe. In the past, he would occasionally see immortal-grade materials, but he had never seen any immortal-grade core materials for sale. Core materials were the most critical and most difficult to obtain for certain synthesis recipes. During the past half an hour, Lu Chen had obtained more than 50 immortal-grade materials, which was a shocking harvest. If he were to sell those materials, he would be able to get a lot of resources. Tomb raiding is indeed a way to make a fortune, Lu Chen exclaimed. But the strange thing is, I thought that there would be a lot of monsters in the tomb of the god of sin. Are the treasures here all taken so easily? Those coffins took up a large area, and were guarded by various divine beasts and strange beasts. In the end, they only emitted some black gas, and had no other protective measures. Shuang Ling said, maybe the treasures here are the worst. Lu Chen nodded. That was a possibility. The tomb of the god of sin seemed to be very big. Now that they were in the outermost area, the treasures they obtained must be the worst. The immortal-grade core materials were the worst treasures. What better treasures could there be in there? Lu Chen suddenly became interested. At that moment, Shuang Ling suddenly said, someone else has entered the tomb of the god of sin. I didn't expect them to break the ice mirror illusion array so quickly. Lu Chen frowned. Competitors had appeared. Let's hurry up and follow the direction of the black gas. At that moment, the people of the Holy Virgin tribe rushed into the secret realm. As soon as they entered the secret realm, they were on full alert, wary of the solipsistic sect's traps at the entrance. However, they soon found that the entrance was empty. They have been in for more than half an hour. Don't worry about the people behind. Catch up with them. The Holy Virgin ordered, and led the team into the tomb of the god of sin. Following that, more teams rushed in. This group of people tacitly stopped wasting time to set up traps. They had been left behind by a lot. Now, the time to delay was not to prevent the people behind from entering the tomb of the god of sin, but to catch up with the solipsistic sect as soon as possible. Damn it, those two guys have gotten so much. Hurry, catch up with them. If we can meet them, it's not a loss to steal their treasures. Group after group of powerhouses rushed into the entrance of the tomb of the god of sin. The battle for the tomb of the god of sin had officially begun. 5 minutes later, the Holy Virgin and the others found the first coffin. At this time it was a mess. The coffin in the center of the array had been pried open, and the 8 beast corpses around it had turned into powder. The Holy Virgin frowned. They have been here. Hurry, look down. Give up on these small tombs. Whether they have searched these places or not, the treasures are not the best. Go straight to the main road on the 2nd floor. Yes, the Holy Virgin's thoughts were clear. If they wanted to catch up with the solipsistic sect, they had to give up on these small tombs. Holy Virgin, the spirit detector has detected traces of spiritual energy flow here. The type of spiritual energy is death aura. They passed by here about half an hour ago. The Holy Virgin nodded. Continue tracking. If they can find the entrance in advance, they must have a way to track the flow of spiritual energy. As long as we follow the flow of spiritual energy, we can catch up with them. Although the other teams had been shaken off by Lu Chen's group, there was an advantage to being at the back. They could see the traps that Lu Chen had triggered. Just like the silver needles from before, there were a lot of silver needles scattered on the ground. There were also the remains of the ice wall, so it was easy to identify. In addition, Lu Chen's group had explored dozens of small tombs before. Although they did not waste time fighting, they still needed to draw out the black aura to get the treasures. In this way, Lu Chen's group's advantage was not enough to let them rest easy. Lu Chen was also very clear about this point. Now he had given up on exploring the small tombs and went straight to tracking the death aura. No matter how many small objects there were, they could not compare to the best treasures. Woof woof woof. Rhubarb told Lu Chen that there were treasures on the left side of the road. Lu Chen marked the location on his personal map. If those guys are bent on catching up with us, maybe we can find some treasures when we come back. Brother Kwang, it seems to be the entrance to the 2nd floor. Lu Chen nodded. The 2nd floor, be careful. Chapter 642. As soon as he entered the 2nd floor, he was greeted by several black shadows. 3000 body flicker slash. Lu Chen immediately activated his skill, and his figure jumped between the shadows. Immune, immune, immune. After 11 consecutive attacks, these shadows were actually unharmed. Immune. Lu Chen frowned slightly, and immediately used his spiritual energy to attack. Lightless Sky Flame Pillar. These shadows died quickly after being hit by the lightless Sky Flame Pillar. However, a moment later, the shadows split into 2 and charged toward Lu Chen again. Are they unkillable? Shuangling frowned and said. These should be undead creatures. Death is equivalent to rebirth for them. And from the looks of it, they can also absorb the spiritual energy that they've endured and duplicate another shadow. Lu Chen was a little depressed. Killing them would only increase their numbers. How was he supposed to fight them? Brother Kwang, these shadows feel similar to the black gas that overflowed from the coffin. Let me see if I can imprison them. Ice imprisonment. Shuangling quickly activated her skill, and the ground quickly froze and extended upward, sealing the surroundings in ice. In the long ice wall in front of them, there were already more than 20 shadows sealed. They were all baring their fangs and brandishing their claws, looking ferocious, but they couldn't move. Lu Chen had to admit that ice mages were really strong when it came to controlling abilities. Shuangling, how long will it take for your ice imprisonment to be lifted? Up to you. As long as I have enough spiritual energy, I can keep the ice pillar up, and I can also lift it in advance. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes and thought for a moment before saying, then lift the ice seal first. Ah, but they're very hard to kill. Lu Chen's lips curled into a smirk. Yes, it's because they're hard to kill that I can make good use of them. Shuangling seemed to already know what Lu Chen was going to do. Brother Kwang, you have to be careful. Their attacks may have some special effects. These things have been in the tomb of the gods for thousands of years, so their damage isn't low. Lu Chen nodded. Don't worry. Shuangling lifted the ice seal, and the 20 shadows pounced toward Lu Chen even more angrily. Lightless Sky Flame Pillar. Man Luo Heavenly Certificate. Lu Chen shouted in a low voice. The ghost shadow's HP was very low. If it was hit by these two skills, it would be instantly killed. Of course, they did not care about being instantly killed. On the contrary, every time they died, they could create a clone, and their HP would increase. In this way, the number of ghostly shadows rapidly multiplied under Lu Chen's instant kills. Over 40, over 90, 200, 400, 800, 1,600. Put him to death. Dragon blood boiling. 6 divine transformations. Lightning elemental attack change. Lu Chen held the limitless sword in his hand as he roared. Great Ravager sweep. Fighting these ghostly shadows, Lu Chen actually directly used the 6 divine transformations. Under God level 6, the damage of thunder elemental attacks would be doubled. Lu Chen converted normal spirit chi attacks into thunder elemental attacks, and could obtain the effect of doubling thunder elemental attacks, increasing the damage by another level. A large amount of sword chi swept out, and wherever it passed, the ghostly shadows were instantly killed. However, they quickly revived and created even more ghostly shadows. There were more than 10,000 ghostly shadows, and their HP had increased from a few million to 30 to 40 million now. Lu Chen was also a little unable to farm anymore, and there was not enough time. Frost Damask. Frost Damask hurriedly activated her skill. Ice Shackle, cold of heaven and earth. With a boom, all the water vapor in the air instantly solidified and connected. The entire area was directly frozen. In this frozen world, countless ghostly shadows bared their fangs and brandished their claws, as if they were about to break out of the ice. Lu Chen pulled Frost Damask and led Rhubarb through this area quickly, hiding in the dark. 5 minutes later, a group of familiar figures entered the second floor as expected. The people from the Saintly Virgin tribe had already chased them here. The two of them were just a few minutes apart. Just as they arrived at the second floor, they were attracted by the huge ice wall in front of them that almost completely blocked the entrance. And what's this? There are so many undead sealed inside. It's solipsistic and the rest who did it. At this moment, another group of people came to the second floor. This group of people was about 7 or 8 people, and the leader was a middle-aged demon. He glanced at the people from the Saintly Virgin tribe and snorted coldly. We still caught up to them. But soon they also noticed the ice wall. This ice wall was left behind by the first person who entered the tomb of the god of sin. The spiritual energy flow is clear, and the surrounding spiritual energy is active. It seems that they just passed through here not long ago. Ha 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 ha, we finally caught up to that kid. Lu Chen and Frost Damask hid in the dark and quietly observed. At this time, there were already 2 groups of people passing through the ice shackle, and the third group had already come down from the first floor. Frost Damask. It's now. Release the seal. The ice wall instantly shattered into countless pieces of ice. Coupled with the fact that the ghostly shadows inside never gave up struggling, the hundreds of meters of ice wall instantly shattered into ice shards. More than 10,000 ghostly shadows regained their freedom. It was impossible for them to find Lu Chen and Frost Damask, but they could find the Saintly Virgin and the rest. This is the seal was released in advance. Solipsistic and the rest are nearby. Damn it, this guy actually tricked us. What a sinister guy. Not good. These ghostly shadows will revive after being killed, and their numbers and strength will increase. We can only trap them. But they found out too late. Lu Chen had only encountered about 10 ghostly shadows in the beginning, and each of them only had a few million HP. Now that they were in the middle of tens of thousands of ghostly shadows, it was easier said than done to seal all of them in one go. Some of them had even been hit. Not good, their attacks have strong corrosion. Chongshan. One of them saw that his companion's arm was rapidly eroding, and the corrosion was still spreading upward. He raised his sword and directly chopped off his companion's entire arm. These 3 groups were all experts. Logically speaking, they should be able to control the situation quickly. But unfortunately, more and more groups entered here. They had just come down and did not know anything. Naturally, they would kill the ghostly shadows when they saw them. As a result, there were more and more ghostly shadows, and they were getting stronger and stronger. The strongest ghostly shadows' HP had already exceeded 200 to 300 million. The entire entrance to the second floor was a mess. A large number of people were attacked by the ghostly shadows. If they did not amputate their limbs in time, their lives would be in danger. Lu Chen did not expect that the unremarkable ghostly shadows would gradually become so strong. However, his plan had worked. The ghostly shadows could trap this group of people for a while. Someone in the crowd shouted, "Hey, I told you not to kill the ghostly shadows. Don't you understand? Think of a way to control the ghostly shadows. The more we kill, the stronger they get. If we continue to kill, we will really be killed by the ghostly shadows. The people behind, don't kill the ghostly shadows. Damn it, I'm going crazy." The current situation was somewhat out of control. The number of ghostly shadows had reached hundreds of thousands. Even though there were countless experts here, facing so many ghostly shadows, they were also exhausted. "Solipsistic, you despicable person, don't let me find you. It's that person who tricked us? This guy is too despicable. I want to kill him." Shuang Ling could not help but look at Lu Chen. "Brother Kuang, they seem to be very angry." Lu Chen smiled. "What's there to be afraid of? Let them play with the ghostly shadows. Let's continue. Let's go. This time, we'll go directly to the most important treasure." Chapter 643. A large number of ghostly shadows appeared on the second floor of the underground palace, but they were only in the form of shadows. Along the way, Lu Chen killed ghostly shadows, increasing their numbers and strength. Then, Shuang Ling used ice spells to control them, and waited until they were far away before unsealing them. Lu Chen and the others gave up on the treasures on the second floor, and went straight to the third floor. The opponents behind them had to face a large number of ghostly shadows. They were delayed, and their progress was slow. Woof woof woof. Just as Lu Chen and Shuang Ling were rushing to the third floor, Rhubarb suddenly barked. Lu Chen frowned slightly, and looked at a fork in the road ahead. "What's wrong with Rhubarb?" Shuang Ling asked curiously. "It said that there's a small tomb at the end of this road. It's a little different, and there are a lot of treasures inside." Lu Chen frowned. Although he had caused a lot of trouble for the saintly virgin tribe along the way, it was normal for those experts to be confused when they encountered ghostly shadows for the first time. If they encountered ghostly shadows again, they would definitely not be so disorganized. If they went to explore that small tomb, perhaps the time they had won would be overtaken. At this moment, Lu Chen suddenly turned his head and looked behind him. "Shuang Ling, be careful. Rhubarb, come back." Suddenly, the walls in all directions were smashed through. Nearly 20 beast-headed creatures jumped out from the walls. These creatures were about 3 to 4 meters tall, and had taut muscles. There were goat heads, bull heads, horse heads. The first thing that came to Lu Chen's mind was, bull heads and horse faces? But no matter what they were from their eyes, they didn't seem to be friendly. They held all kinds of long weapons and quickly surrounded Lu Chen and Shuang Ling. Trespassing into the tomb of the god of sin is a crime punishable by death. A bull monster said in a deep voice. Lu Chen stared at these monsters. Obviously, they wouldn't be as easy to deal with as the ghostly shadows. "Are you demons?" Lu Chen asked. "We're tomb keepers, not any race. You trespassed into the tomb of the god of sin, so our duty is to kill all of you." It wasn't easy to be number one. Along the way, not only would they have to be the first to face all sorts of traps and mechanisms, they would also be the first to encounter all sorts of monsters. "Big Brother Kuang, the tomb keeper in the divine tomb is very powerful. Be careful," Shuang Ling said. Lu Chen took a deep breath. He estimated that after this battle, he would not be able to keep his first place, but he had no other choice. Pulling out the limitless demon god sword, Lu Chen entered the state of demon god symbiosis. Godly demon limitless sword? The bull-headed man actually recognized the sword in Lu Chen's hand. Array formation. 18 earthly fiend beast soul formation. The 18 beast-headed monsters quickly moved and stood in their respective positions, ready for battle. Shuangling quickly enchanted Lu Chen's equipment. Ice weapon. Frost armor. Lu Chen and Limitless Sword were surrounded by an icy mist. Ice weapon. Attacks will cause the enemy's movement speed to decrease. After 3 consecutive hits, the enemy will be frozen. Frost armor. Takes effect after being attacked, causing the enemy's attack speed to decrease, and casting speed to decrease. The effect can be stacked up to 5 times. Frost Dance had once enchanted Lu Chen's weapons, but she could only enchant long-range bows, while Shuangling's strength was stronger. She could enchant melee weapons and armor. Coupled with the previous frost armor, Lu Chen's current defense was very strong. Worthy of being a super support. Lu Chen nodded to Shuangling suddenly. The beast-headed men launched an attack. The 18 beast-headed men moved quickly. Their speed was so fast that it was difficult to capture their figures, and even more difficult to lock onto a specific unit. Speaking of which, this should be the first time Lu Chen encountered a high-level battle array. It was different from the general array. The array was dead, and the array could be broken by breaking the array core. The role of the battle array was to improve the overall strength, allowing the people in the battle array to exert more than the simple addition of everyone's combat power. Lu Chen had many skills, but because he couldn't lock onto the target, he couldn't find a breakthrough for a while. He could only use group attack skills first. Lightless Sky Flame Pillar. Black Coffin Dead Zone. Man Luo Sky Certificate. Mountain Splitting Strength. Among the 4 skills, Black Coffin Dead Zone and Man Luo Sky Certificate were directly immune, while Heavenly Flame Pillar and Mountain Splitting Strength were easily dodged. Black Coffin Dead Zone is related to death energy. It's not difficult to understand that they are immune to it, but why are they immune to the poison attack of Man Luo Sky Certificate? Lu Chen thought for a moment, and thought of a possibility. These guys' bodies were no longer their original bodies. These bodies should have undergone some kind of special treatment to be able to be preserved for such a long time. Simply put, these guys should be zombies. Thinking of this, Lu Chen quickly changed his attack type. Maybe it was because he had watched too many zombie movies in the past. Zombies might be afraid of thunder and lightning. Changed to thunder and lightning attack type. Heaven's Eye. Now Lu Chen had to lock onto the opponent's units and break them one by one to break this array. Suddenly, a sharp spear turned into a silver light and pierced Lu Chen's Heaven's Eye. Now is the time. Triple door. Lu Chen quickly dodged and landed less than 2 meters away. Then, he formed a claw with one hand and shouted, "I'm just waiting for you to make your move. I'm all ears." A strong pulling force came from Lu Chen's palm. He had successfully locked onto the attacker's body and was about to pull it out of the beast's soul array. But at this moment, several silver lights pierced toward Lu Chen's vital points. In the battle array, when one person was attacked, help came from all directions. Damn it! Lu Chen gritted his teeth. He had no choice but to give up on listening and quickly dodge. When Lu Chen looked back, a silver light flashed from Shuangling's side. Someone was attacking Shuangling. I'm all ears. Lu Chen grabbed with one hand and pulled Shuangling to his side to avoid the attack. At the same time, he held Shuangling with one hand and said, "Follow me." Encountering the 18 Earth Demon Beast Soul Array, Lu Chen had a headache and could only deal with it for now. A quarter of an hour later, the first batch of competitors appeared around the corner. The people who came were not from the Saintly Virgin tribe. This team only had 7 or 8 people. At this time, when they saw the battle not far ahead, they immediately stood in place to observe. Is it that solipsistic? They seem to be trapped by something. Should we? One of them raised his eyebrows at his companions. His meaning was self-evident. This was the best time to kill the solipsistic. No, the ones surrounding them should be some kind of tomb keeper of the tomb of the god of sin. I've read in an ancient book that the tomb keeper's duty is to protect the tomb of the god of sin. Anyone who enters the tomb of the god of sin is their enemy. So if we kill the solipsistic at this time, we will become their new target. Remember, our primary mission in the tomb of the god of sin is to seize the treasure. Let them delay the tomb keeper, while we go find the most important treasure. The group passed directly in front of Lu Chen and the others. The tomb keeper was focused on dealing with Lu Chun and the others at this time, and did not stop them. Ha ha ha, you're the solipsistic, right? Weren't you very sinister before? Thinking of ways to trick us. Now it's your turn to fall for it. There are no great opportunities in the tomb of the god of sin. Do you think you can get the treasure just by being first? Dream on. Oh, the tomb keeper is very difficult to deal with. Thank you for stepping on the mine for us. Ha 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 ha. A few people laughed wildly as they passed by. Lu Chun was also depressed. You'll have to pay for it sooner or later. Chapter 644. After a few waves of people passed by, each of them more sinister than the last. No one dared to attack Lu Chun, afraid that the tomb keeper would target them. Isn't this Brother Du Quang? The saintess had also arrived. Aya, you look like you're having a hard time. You must be hard to deal with. Previously, these people had a deep grudge against Lu Chun. Now that they finally saw Lu Chun stumble, although they did not kill him, they would feel aggrieved if they did not make a few sarcastic remarks. I originally wanted to help you, but unfortunately for Gui Ying, you made us too miserable. 2 of my subordinates have lost their arms, so we don't have enough manpower. You can slowly fight here. If I manage to snatch the treasure and search through the other levels of the underground palace, and you're still alive when I come back, I'll save you. I'm still counting on you to complete our deal, so don't die. Lu Chun did not have the time to pay attention to the saintess' sarcastic remarks. He needed to focus on dealing with the 18 Earth Fiend Beast Soul Array. Within the array, Shuangling whispered, Brother Quang, this array is so powerful. They broke my ice imprisonment. They had already tried to use ice imprisonment earlier, but it had not worked. Don't worry. Since we're no longer in first place, we might as well deal with it peacefully. Lu Chun took a deep breath. The difficulty of this array was that it could not lock onto its target. By rapidly changing positions, it could easily cause Lu Chun to lose his target. Furthermore, Lu Chun's area of effect skills could also be dodged. On the other hand, the array's attacks were not particularly sharp. At the very least, Lu Chun could dodge them. So the key to this array is high evasion. If I keep defending, I'll definitely lose. If I can't hold on, I'll still lose in the end. Lu Chun's mind raced. At this point, he could only take a risk. Several silver lights flashed out and went straight to Lu Chun's body. Lu Chun let go of Shuangling. This array is hard to break from the outside. It must be broken from the inside. Be careful. Triple door. After saying that, Lu Chun charged into the enemy's array. When he entered the enemy's battle formation, he immediately fell into the trap of being besieged. A large number of attacks rained down on Lu Chun. It was like a soldier charging into the enemy's defensive line, and the enemy would kill him at all costs. As a result, no one cared about Shuangling anymore. The heavens, I gave out a lot of warnings, covering almost all the routes. 9 void steps. Lu Chun took 3 steps in a row. Under the influence of the 9 void steps, all of these attacks were greatly offset. Amidst the chaos, a large deviation in one's moves could result in the injury of one's companions. At this moment, the movement of the battle formation indeed slowed down. Of course, it was only slow in comparison. Lu Chun had to rely on the heaven's eye to lock onto the enemy, and the locking time was also extremely short. Less than half a second was the key to determining the outcome of the battle. 3000 body flicker slash. Lu Chun quickly locked onto one of the tomb keepers. The 3000 body flicker slash had 11 normal attacks, and each normal attack had 5 consecutive hits. Even if he was immune to poison attacks, Lu Chun could still deal 55 hits. Minus 29. 2 million double critical hit. Minus 35. 4 million triple critical hit. Minus 27. 7 million double critical hit. Just as Lu Chun dealt the 3 hits, a figure suddenly replaced Lu Chun's target. Damn, in my 3000 body flicker slash, it can directly replace my target. Lu Chun was shocked. No wonder he could not lock onto the target. The 18 Earth Beast Soul formation had such an effect. However, Lu Chen suddenly realized that the unit that was replaced with low HP was actually standing still. It's the effect of the ice weapon. That guy is frozen. Since that was the case, Lu Chen naturally would not hold back. With a normal attack, he killed it instantly. At this point, Lu Chen finally tore a hole in the 18 Earth Beast Soul formation. The Tomb Keepers also reacted quickly, and they quickly attacked together. 9 Void Steps. Lu Chen used the same trick again. Using the attack deviation, he forced the opponent to reduce their movement speed. Once again, he locked onto another person. With 3 hits, he froze it and then killed it. As more and more holes appeared in the Beast Soul formation, the power of the formation greatly decreased. Next, Lu Chen became more and more skillful. When he could lock onto the opponent's unit, it was very easy to kill the Beast Headman, Infinite Grace Release. Lu Chen's figure quickly shuttled between the remaining Tomb Keepers. Wherever he passed, he was killed instantly. When the last Bull Headman fell, Lu Chen let out a long sigh of relief. It's finally done. The corpse of the Tomb Keeper on the ground gradually turned into black gas and flew toward the entrance of the 3rd floor. The Bull Headman's body was also disintegrating. He looked at Lu Chen. You can actually break the Beast Soul formation. Unfortunately, you can forget about leaving alive. Not a single one of you can think about leaving alive. It will tear you all apart. After saying that, the Beast Headman finally turned into black gas and rushed toward the depths of the underground palace. Shuang Ling looked at Lu Chen in surprise. What does it mean? Lu Chen thought for a moment. Probably there is an extremely powerful creature in the underground palace. However, since there is a treasure in the tomb of the God of Sin, it is inevitable that there will be a powerful creature guarding it. Since we are here, we should all be prepared. Shuang Ling, I have consumed a lot of energy. Let's go and see if the treasure on the other side of the fork is still there. Are we not going to chase them? Shuang Ling asked. No, I have thought it through. It is too bad to be first. Let them be first. The tomb of the God of Sin has been open for 3 days. And this is only the first day. I believe that no one will be able to get the treasure until the end. It is a blessing in disguise. It is not certain who will have the last laugh. Don't worry. I will do my best to help you get the treasure. Shuang Ling was a little ashamed. At the beginning, as long as Solipsistic accompanied her to the tomb of the God of Sin, the other treasures would belong to Lu Chen. She only wanted one. Although no one knew if the treasure was the one Shuang Ling needed, generally speaking, the last treasure should be the best. It was related to the fate of the Frost race, so it should be the last treasure. Brother Kuang, if you can help me get the treasure, the Frost clan will remember it for generations to come. Lu Chen smiled slightly. You and your sister are my friends. Why are you saying this? Besides, the treasure is not in my hands yet. There are too many masters here. I can only do my best. Yes, I know. Let's go and see if the treasure Rhubarb said is still there. The two walked to the location indicated by Rhubarb. This was a tomb with a large area. There was a huge talisman array on the ground, and there were 108 mutated beast corpses around, each standing in the eye of the array. In the middle of the array, there was a coffin. Behind the coffin, there was a golden treasure chest. Damn! If it weren't for the fact that everyone is in a hurry to get the first place, such a big treasure chest would have been gone. Lu Chen swallowed. This chest was bigger than the 4 chests in the base of the suboriginator. He did not know what was inside. He checked it with his sky eyes and found that there was still a weak flow of spiritual qi in the array. After thousands of years, there was no injection of spiritual qi, but this array still had a slight effect. One could imagine how powerful this array was when it was set up. The owner of this tomb is really strong. How many mutated beasts did he capture to be buried with him? Lu Chen shook his head and carefully approached the coffin. A standing coffin just couldn't allow him to sleep peacefully. He had to be careful. Chapter 645. Shuang Ling was already on standby, ready to seal the coffin at any time. After Lu Chen finished his preparations, he pried open the coffin lid. The moment the coffin lid was pried open, A large amount of black gas gushed out of the coffin. It was abnormally turbulent. Shuangling. Lu Chen hurriedly turned around and motioned for Shuangling to act. Ice imprisonment. Shuangling immediately acted. The two of them had cooperated many times. Logically speaking, there was almost no gap between the two of them. However, this time, the black gas was too turbulent. The speed at which it gushed out was extremely fast. Even the water vapor needed time to freeze. Before the ice imprisonment took effect, a gust of black gas still wrapped around Lu Chen. Damn it, this thing doesn't attack people. Lu Chen was complaining when his mind suddenly became chaotic. Then he lost consciousness. When Lu Chen opened his eyes again, he found that he was in a unique space, and a female human was standing in front of him. This woman was graceful, elegant, especially her eyes, which were as clear as water. They reminded Lu Chen of the saintess. Where is this? A whirlpool? Lu Chen held his forehead. He was at a loss. The woman smiled. This is your consciousness. As for me, I am just a remnant consciousness left behind by the first saintess. Lu Chen was a little confused. His brows were still furrowed. In the fourth heaven, you still need to rely on the connection of your consciousness to enter the 9 heavens. However, I use some methods to intercept your consciousness. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. Alright, I think I understand. The woman shook her head. I didn't expect to meet a human. If you weren't a human, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to communicate. Since the woman had intercepted Lu Chen's consciousness, the translation software naturally couldn't be used. Lu Chen stood up and looked at the woman warily. You want to communicate with me? What do you want to tell me? The woman looked at Lu Chen quietly. I want to give you a mission. Ah, mission? Lu Chen asked, puzzled. Yes, of course. My mission is different from the missions you've encountered in the past. This is a personal request, not a hidden Jyotian mission. Of course, you can also think of it as a hidden mission. In essence, there's not much difference. Help me fulfill my wish, and I will reward you. It's that simple. Lu Chen took a deep breath. What if I don't agree? Are you going to trap me here? It's been a long time since I've met someone I can ask for help from. Soon, my remaining consciousness will dissipate. Logically speaking, since I've met you, I should ask you to help me fulfill my wish no matter what. But I don't like to force people. If you're not willing, I'll let you go now. Lu Chen looked at the woman who called herself the first saintess in surprise. Previously, the current saintess had told him that the desolate god had many women, and the one he doted on the most was a woman from the human race. It seemed that it was this woman in front of him. Needless to say, this woman's appearance was flawless. However, there were too many beautiful women in the Jyotian, each with their own merits. The reason why this woman could be so deeply loved by the desolate god was probably because of her aloof personality. The more ambitious a person was, the easier it was for him to be conquered by such a simple woman. All right, tell me what you want me to do for you. Lu Chen asked. Release the war soul of the fleshwater immortal. Please set him free. Lu Chen frowned. The war soul of the fleshwater immortal? Yes. There are a total of 2 immortal supremes buried in this tomb of the gods. The desolate immortal, and his mortal enemy, the fleshwater immortal. The desolate immortal is the desolate god that everyone talks about. He's also my husband. You know too little about the difference between immortals and gods. It's inevitable that you'll call him by the wrong name. You should have noticed that after the tomb of the gods appeared, it constantly absorbed the surrounding spiritual chi. Even the death chi inside the tomb of the gods all rushed to the bottom of the tomb of the gods. The desolate god is accumulating strength. He's preparing to revive. But because his obsession was too deep when he died, he can't reach the strength of a immortal supremacy after his revival. He'll only become a terrifying monster. I don't care what he'll become. I just hope that the fleshwater immortal can let go of his obsession and enter the reincarnation cycle again. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. Thousands of years ago, there seemed to be some love and hatred between the 2 immortal supremes and this beautiful woman. Could it be that the desolate god was cuckolded? Could it be that some of the desolate god tribe today were the descendants of the fleshwater immortal? Lu Chen was too embarrassed to ask this question. The task was more important. How do I release the flesh-water immortal? What reward will you give me after I release the soul? There's a hairpin in the grave behind me. Once the desolate god awakens, the flesh-water immortal will also awaken. I'll take you to another tomb of the gods. After you find the flesh-water fighting soul, show him this hairpin. I think he'll understand. Remember, even if the desolate god fighting soul is no longer as strong as the immortal supremacy, your strength is still far from it. You must find the flesh-water fighting soul, and leave the rest to him. As for the reward, if you can complete the task I give you, then the treasures of the 2 tombs of the gods will be your reward. Lu Chen sucked in a breath of cold air. This fairy's business acumen was pretty good. It was a completely empty-handed business. But then again, the reward was still very tempting. With his own strength, Lu Chen would need extraordinary strength and incredible luck to stand out among the many masters. But if he could find the flesh-water immortal's fighting soul, no one would be able to compete with him. Not only could he get the treasures of the desolate god's tomb, but he could also get the treasures of the flesh-water tomb. Okay, I promise you. But I still have a friend. Can you take her with you? I'm sorry, child. My consciousness is already blurred. After teleporting a person, I will dissipate. So, your friend will have to stay here. However, I can guarantee her safety for 3 days. Lu Chen shook his head. Shuang Ling was indeed a competent support mage. She was of great help to him. Without her, he would have to face much more difficulties alone. However, the saint's consciousness said that he could not teleport. He could only take a gamble. Okay, then please ensure her safety. When I come back, she must be in good condition. Yes, before the tomb of the gods closes, the demons in the tomb will protect her. She will be fine. So that's how it is. Lu Chen was relieved. Take me to the flesh-water tomb. Shuang Ling hugged Lu Chen's body, anxious to the point of tears. Suddenly, Lu Chen's body disappeared from her hands. Before Shuang Ling could react, the illusion of a woman appeared in front of her. Your friend is helping me with the mission. For 3 days, you must avoid other tomb explorers. You will be absolutely safe in the tomb of the gods. The demons here will protect you, and the traps will not be triggered. The woman waved her hand, and 18 beast-headed tomb keepers appeared beside Shuang Ling. They stood behind Shuang Ling like 18 bodyguards. However, you can't use them to attack others. I'm only ensuring your safety. I didn't say I would help you get the treasure. Remember this. Who are you? Shuang Ling was shocked. Who I am is not important. What's important is that I hope your friend can complete the mission. With that, the woman's illusion turned into dust and scattered in the air. Chapter 646. Standing in front of a small tomb again, Lu Chen had a golden hairpin in his hand. This should be the hairpin that the first saintess mentioned. This time, there were no more competitors behind him. He was probably the only one who could come to the Lochwater tomb. The Lochwater tomb was not as dark as the desolate god's tomb. It was surrounded by flowers and grass. Rhubarb, come with me. Let's go in and see the tomb of the Lochwater god. Since almost no one could find the entrance to the Lochwater tomb, Lu Chen did not encounter any traps along the way. There were no small tombs in the tomb. There was only a large road. From the structure of the tomb, I feel that Lochwater is indeed much more open than the desolate god. At least he didn't have those things. The desolate god was licentious. It's normal that the first saintess didn't like him. Lochwater looks much more upright. If I were a woman, I would choose Lochwater too. Rhubarb, did you find any treasures? Rhubarb shook his head. Let's keep going. At the same time, Shuang Ling was leading her new subordinates to look for the treasure chest behind the first saintess. There were a large number of immortal core materials, common rare materials, rare herbs, and even a immortal martial art. I don't know when Brother Kwang will come back. If he can't find these treasures in time, then Brother Kwang will suffer a great loss. I have to help him find more treasures. After putting all these treasures into her backpack, Shuang Ling thought for a while. Most of the other teams should have gone to the third floor. It would be best if she did not meet them. There were still many places on the first and second floor that she had not explored yet. There were still many treasures there. Alright, let's search floor by floor. There should be a lot of fish that escaped the net. Returning to the first floor, Xuangling was carefully searching every fork. Some of them had already been taken away by others. However, those people did not have the time to search for all the treasures, as they did not want to be left too far behind. This made Xuangling very lucky. She had nothing else to do. She carefully searched every small tomb, and found more and more treasures. At around 9 o'clock at night, the torches on the walls of the desolate god's tomb were all extinguished. Xuangling, who was looking for coffins, was shocked. Her 18 tomb keepers surrounded her, but they didn't seem to have any vitality, as if they had entered a state of hibernation. Looks like we won't be able to continue exploring today. Xuangling stopped what she was doing and sat down to rest. On the fourth floor of the divine tomb, the top teams were competing for the ranking of the treasure hunting teams. Along the way, everyone had seen that the treasures were almost at their fingertips. Then, wouldn't the ultimate treasure also be so easy to obtain? At the very least, they had to ensure that their team's position wouldn't be left too far behind. Only when they found the treasure would they have a chance to fight for it. However, the surrounding torches were suddenly extinguished, and the entire underground palace was pitch black. Someone took out a lighting tool, but the range of the light was too small, and it would not last long before it was extinguished by the airflow. Saintess, what should we do now? The Saintess' eyes were particularly bright under the candlelight. Let's wait for a while. There are traps everywhere in the underground palace. After the fourth floor, there will be more and more demons. It's too dangerous to act rashly now. We'll continue exploring when the torch is lit again. However, some teams wanted to widen the gap between them and others while others were resting. Not far away, a few screams were suddenly heard. Someone must have fallen into a trap. The people of the Kazan tribe snorted. Don't you know that haste makes waste? What an idiot. Let's rest here. And Tai, Minju, take some people to be on guard. Don't let your guard down. The others are more dangerous than the divine tomb. Yes, sir. The moonlight shone through the open skylight. Lu Chun was lying in a herb garden, enjoying the fragrance of the herbs. If Yi Shui is not a pharmacist, then he must be a very sentimental person. He even designed a herb garden in the tomb. The skylight above his head should have been designed to let the herbs bathe in the sunlight, but now it became Lu Chen's comfortable bed. Although Yi Shui's tomb doesn't have any miscellaneous things, it's still very stylish. The scale is huge, just like a maze. I can't earn all of it in one day. Let's rest here first. Just as Lu Chen was about to fall asleep, a rustling sound came from the herb garden. Lu Chen looked at the source of the sound and found a pair of small eyes peeking at him from the bushes. He jumped to his feet and looked at the guy in horror. Who are you? A human child walked out from the herb garden. He looked about 4 or 5 years old. His clothes were tattered, but he looked like he was carved out of jade. Who are you? The child stared at Lu Chen. Why are you lying in the herb garden? You'll crush some herbs. I'm a tomb raider. So what if you're a tomb raider? Get up. Lu Chen was stunned by the child's imposing manner. He stood up involuntarily. Of course, it was mainly because he was in the wrong. Everyone was responsible for caring for the plants. The child carefully examined the plants that had been pressed down by Lu Chen. Look at you, this heart-burning grass has been pressed down by you until it has no vitality. Are you a human or a ghost? Lu Chen stood aside. I'm a medicine boy here, the child said angrily while carefully handling the plants in his hands. I have to collect them as soon as possible. Otherwise, the efficacy will be reduced by more than 70%. It's all your fault. Of all places to sleep, you had to sleep here. These precious herbs, I've taken care of them for thousands of years. You ruined them. Lu Chen frowned. You've been here for thousands of years? Why are you still a child? TSK, I didn't say I'm still alive. The child said disdainfully. Lu Chen took a deep breath. This answer was a bit domineering. Hey, stinky brat. Since you can come to the tomb of Master Yishui, you should have gotten the approval of Sister Saintess. These herbs have no chance to play their role here. Now they're being crushed by you. I'll collect them, and you can take them out. Lu Chen felt strange being called a stinky brat by a child. However, listening to the medicine boy's words, Lu Chen was overjoyed. The Yishui divine tomb was extremely poor. The only thing he could find were these herbs. Originally, Lu Chen was troubled because he didn't know how to collect herbs. He could only collect them casually, which would inevitably destroy the efficacy of the herbs. Now that the medicine boy was here, he didn't have such worries. Oh, there's such a good thing. Lu Chen stood aside and watched the medicine boy carefully collect the herbs. Each of them was extremely careful and attentive. He even said something to them, as if he was bidding farewell to his family. Little dragon beard, you've grown up. Whether it's an immortal pill or an ordinary pill in the future, depends on what kind of alchemist you meet. Death flower, you're the one who loves to show off. Now you've been crushed by that blind stinky brat. However, I'll keep your medicinal properties. As for what kind of pill you can refine, it'll depend on your luck. Suddenly, Lu Chen felt a little sad. This medicine boy had been here alone for thousands of years. He had no one to talk to. In his world, there was only this herb garden. All the herbs had become his friends. He had been alone for thousands of years. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.